Good Wednesday. We're going to hand you over to Gregory. Greg, good morning.
She's good, isn't she, Miley Cyrus?
She is very
Her new
good.
single's very good as well.
Oh, what one's that?
Can't remember.
Is
I
it
can't
good?
say the name of it.
I can't
because
remember that.
I'm
Yeah,
old.
but she's good, isn't she? She is. She's
got
doing business.
longevity.
She does. She's like her career. She's doing business, isn't she?
Yeah, I thought for a long time that Gareth Brooks was her dad.
No. All right, Billy.
Because I used to get him and Billy mixed up.
All right. Yeah. Billy Ray. You could tell my heart.
That was a good old tune, wasn't it?
He was kind of like a one-hit wonder, wasn't he?
I think there was more to it than that.
Was there? A few more, was there?
Are you going to see Bruce Springsteen? €160 for a ticket. What do you think?
This is
about
what
that?
I was chatting about it yesterday. He's playing Boucher Road in
€160.
Belfast, isn't he? That's a lot. It's like, and there was the fan saying that he was supposed to be, working class man, union man, all this type of stuff, and then he charges 160. But it's not him.
Oh, it is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Does he need the extra money? Does he need the money?
Listen, he's not. You can't absolve him of responsibility for his fans having to pay €160 to sit down to watch him in Croke Park.
Yeah. But why so much?
Because that's the amount now, and it's very hard to book tickets. I don't know.
No.
I think it's exploitation of the fans, the loyal fans.
Yeah. But sure, he's playing here every turnabout, isn't he?
I don't know.
He must
actually.
think we're green or something, is he?
We'll fill Croke Park, so maybe we are green.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, Leo.
All right, good luck.
Take
Have a
care
good
of
show.
yourself, sunshine. All right, 9 o'clock, time for news update. And it's over to Donna Marie Doherty.
Thanks, Greg. Good morning. A Donegal deputy says it's important to understand the process required to see works on the A5 come to fruition. Deputy Joe McHugh says the publication of a report from the Planning Appeals Commission is of utmost importance. West Tyrone MP Orla Begley previously said the project could start within a matter of months, provided the Irish government now follows through on funding commitments. Deputy McHugh responded, saying it's his understanding that this is the case.
As far as I'm concerned, no matter what government would be in there, it would be a very unwise decision not to follow through on this commitment. It's really important to have this network built, both, as I mentioned earlier, in relation to safety and people who have lost their lives in the recent past and before that as well, and also the potential danger for future loss of life on this road. So it's of immediate concern to everybody, and it's important that this project starts moving and goes through the process.
A group of Donegal GPs will meet senior CELTA management today. The meeting, which will be attended by CEO Tony Canavan and other CELTA figures, will focus on timely care of patients at the Letterkenny University Hospital Emergency Department, as well as timely access to urgent outpatient appointments across a range of specialties. Dr. Patrick McGuinness welcomes the meeting to highlight concerns and looks forward to hearing how CELTA will level up services for Letterkenny Hospital and Donegal patients. He says they are continuing to press for an external review of the hospital and its funding, and for the Minister to visit the hospital and speak to them in person.
We really welcome this initial meeting with senior management at the CELTA Group, and we welcome the opportunity to outline our serious patient safety concerns as GPs. We've got three main asks for Tony Canavan and his team today. For the medical assessment unit at Letterkenny to be up and running and protected with GP access. We're asking for timely access to urgent outpatient appointments for patients with serious medical conditions, including those patients with suspected cancers. And we continue to call for an external review of the hospital and of its funding. We look forward to hearing from the management team today about what plans that they've put in place to level up the hospital with the rest of the CELTA Group, making it safer and more equitable for our patients here in Donegal.
There are calls for consent classes to be expanded into secondary schools. The topic was raised at an Oireachtas committee meeting yesterday with representatives from the Active Consent Programme and the UCC Bystander Intervention Programme presenting their findings. They argue that online misinformation is causing young people to develop unhealthy ideas around sex and relationships. Law professor Louise Crowley believes it's important students learn about consent before beginning university.
I think the argument is hard to defeat. We know that students are coming into us at third level already having experienced significant levels of sexual hostility, harassment and even violence. And it's not just that young people are engaging in sexual and intimate activity, but it's much beyond that. It's the type of behaviour that they are experiencing on a regular basis, which we know from various surveys that have been conducted.
Looking now to weather, it will be fresh and bright this morning with plenty of sunshine. Showers will spread from the west during the morning, becoming frequent during the afternoon and evening. Some of the showers will be heavy with the risk of hail and thunder. A blustery day with maximum afternoon temperatures ranging from 8 to 11 degrees in fresh to strong and gusty southwest winds. The next news update is at 10 o'clock. That's all for now. Until then, good morning.
Whether it's golfing, gardening, or going for a new personal best. At Nurofen, we know sometimes body pain can stop you in your tracks. Time for the power of new Nurofen Long Lasting for body pain relief that lasts up to 12 hours day or night. So you keep doing what you're doing, and we'll do the long-lasting body pain relief. Up to 12 hours pain relief refers to a 2x300mg capsule dose. Nurofen long-lasting 300mg prolonged release hard capsules contain ibuprofen for backache and muscular pain and period pain. Always read the label.
The county's #1 talk show, The 9 till Noon Show on Highland Radio. And now it's time for the talk of the Northwest, The 9 till Noon Show with Greg Hughes on Highland Radio.
Hello and a very good morning to you. 5 minutes past 9 on this Wednesday, the 8th of November 2023. You're very welcome along to another edition of the 9 till Noon Show. Our lines are open for you right now. If you want to get involved in the conversation, we've got loads lined up. We always have space for what you want to talk about too. Well, we hope what we've lined up is what you want to talk about, but I think you know what I'm trying to say here. 086 60 25,000 WhatsApps and texts to that number. And just a reminder for you, if you want to send your WhatsApp voice notes, use that number to 086 60 25,000. For those of you wanting to call us, Caroline and Shannon taking your calls this morning, 07491 25,000. And the email address is open to you to contact us as well. Comments at highlandradio.com. And just to invite you, if you want to and if it suits you, you can watch the programme on our YouTube channel, Highland Radio Ireland. You can access that via the YouTube app on your smart TV or your Fire Stick or across your mobile devices. And we're also on our Facebook pages, Highland Hub, Highland Radio News and Sport, and we also pop up on X. Okay, the papers this morning, we'll start with the Finn Valley Voice. There's anger and annoyance throughout the Finn Valley this week at the news that a memorial to the first Royal Ulster Constabulary officer killed in the Republic of Ireland during the Troubles has been removed approximately a week after it was first unveiled. On October 28th, 1973 at 8:40pm, Detective Constable John Doherty, aged 31, was off duty visiting his mother's house in Ballindrate when he was ambushed by IRA gunman and fatally injured his girlfriend who was with him in the car, survived the attack. We spoke to John's brother yesterday who expressed that annoyance and disappointment at the removal of that plaque on the programme yesterday. Both Inishowen newspapers this morning, as you can imagine, focus on the tragic events of the weekend. The Inishowen Independent, sadness as 2 teens die in fatal crash. Community in shock as Inishowen loses more young lives on its roads. And there's extensive coverage, of course, inside the paper today. The Inish Times, there has been an outpouring of grief across Inishowen at the deaths of 2 teenaged friends in a road collision near Glenealy in the early hours of Monday. Alana Harkin and Thomas Gallagher, both from Glenealy, lost their lives in a single vehicle collision at Terrawee at around 12:30am. A male in his teens who was also in the car received treatment for injuries that are believed to be non-life-threatening. And we heard yesterday that hopefully he's making positive inroads in his recovery. On to the Donegal Post this morning. Gardaí believe that a fire which caused extensive damage to a vacant premises in Donegal town may have been started maliciously. Fire crews battled to bring a blaze under control at the former Picture Mouldings factory on Halloween night. A Garda spokesperson said at 8:45am on that date, Gardaí were alerted to the fact that a derelict factory was on fire at that location. That story is one of the appeals featured within the Community Garda information item, which you can listen back to, of course, on our podcast or on the Highland Radio News and Sport Facebook page or on Garda Síochána Facebook page there. On to the nationals now. The Irish Times. Beef exports from Ireland to the Chinese market have been suspended after a case of atypical BSE was detected in a cow during recent routine Department of Agricultural tests. The timing, terrible really, because these atypical cases are quite infrequent, one every 3 years. There was one back in 2019 which suspended our trade with China, and it just about got up and running again. It's worth around 40 million a year and could be built upon. And it just so happened that another case was discovered whilst Micheál Martin was actually in China, and it's going to be months before trade resumes once again. The suspension of exports from Irish producers to China has been described as a blow to the agriculture industry, as China had been seen as a market for big potential growth. Previously, beef exports to China were halted for 2.5 years following a similar case of atypical BSE picked up in May 2020. We have export deals with around about 70 countries. China is the only one that we have this agreement with them, whereby if a case of BSE is discovered atypical, these just random cases that pop up, that it suspends exports. So hopefully that gets back up and running really soon. But overall, in the wider scale of things, it's not a greatly significant part of the beef export market, but the sooner it's back up and running, of course, the better. The cow, they're very stringent because the cow, 10 years old, it was a fallen animal and wasn't actually obviously going to be exported to China, but that was the agreement that was reached with them, and therefore exports are now suspended. The Irish Independent this morning, a Sinn Féin TD is suing a newspaper and a journalist over coverage of his response to the Hamas attack on Israel on October 7th. The party's Dublin-based South TD Chris Andrews has initiated legal action over reporting of a comment he made the day after the attack, and of course he's perfectly entitled to do so, and the courts will decide if it goes that far. But it is interesting to see politicians suing the press for coverage. Mr. Andrew is the latest in a string of Sinn Féin figures to take legal action against media organisations. Sinn Féin leader Mary Lou McDonald was nominated for a Bully of the Year award by a group that campaigns against powerful individuals using defamation laws to silence critics, known as SLAPs. SLAPPS's strategic lawsuits against public participation. Ms. McDonald's defamation case against RTE, which was related to provisional IRA rape victim Maria Cahill, has been flagged with the Council of Europe as a potential threat to media freedom by the Index on Censorship. On to the Irish Daily Mail. Static cameras to tackle speed on our roads. Garda Commissioner Drew Harris wants to introduce static speed cameras across the country's road network to address the soaring number of road deaths. Communities have been devastated by 165 road fatalities so far this year, a figure Taoiseach Leo Varadkar described as a matter of enormous concern. Although speed, of course, is not a factor in all of these collisions. The Garda Commissioner called yesterday for enhanced speed trap infrastructure, including the introduction of static cameras and the wider use of average speed cameras. So how would that work? Well, let's say, for an example, you would have one camera located at the bottom of McGrory's Bray on the Ballybofey to Donegal Town Road, and then you'd have another at Clarchapel. It would take a picture of your number plate at the bottom of McGrory's Bray, and then another at Clarchapel, as an example. And it would have calculated what the minimum that journey could take at the legal speed limit. And if you were on the wrong side of that, then instantly it would know you were speeding. You had to have been speeding. It wouldn't account for speeding excessively in the wrong part of the road. It depends how far the cameras are apart. I don't know. Just with our road network, I think there's only one speed trap camera, and that's the Port Tunnel. But I don't know if it's practical. I can understand why people are looking for solutions or things that might help, but you just wonder if it's really going to be practical or if it's just noise. Do you know what I mean? When we really should be saying, well, what really, really, really can we do? Just continuing the conversation from Norma Foley. She's obsessed with mobile phone usage amongst young people. We heard from the INMO yesterday that I can't remember the exact word that was used, but it wasn't very complimentary to say that really they're not worried about phones in schools. This is the Irish, the INTO, sorry. They're not worried about phones in schools. They're worried about the fact that there's no teachers in schools. There's 800 vacancies. It's going to be 2,000 shortly, and this is, again, it sounded like he thought this was something of a distraction. But anyway, what do you think about the government getting involved in Santa? Because Santa, this is a direct appeal to him, I presume. Santa shouldn't bring smartphones to young children this Christmas, Education Minister Norma Foley has urged. Now, I'm not sure if this is the first time a government minister has spoken directly to Santa, but be that as it may. It comes as the government launched a plan to encourage Irish parents not to buy a mobile phone for their children while in primary school. The Department of Education has drawn up new guidelines to help schools set up voluntary agreements between all parents to commit to not buying a smartphone for young kids. And she's obviously had to extend that out to Santi, because we don't know what he might do and what's on the list. But anyway, what do you think about that? 08660 25,000. The Mirror this morning, or it's the Star in fact, murder accused Joseph Puska told the court contemptible lies, I beg your pardon. The prosecution has told the jury, adding that Ashleen Murphy was an investigator in her own murder, as she got the DNA of the person who killed her under her fingernails. So it's just a strange sentence structure. My apologies. Prosecuting barrister Anne-Marie Lawler, senior counsel, made the comments in her closing speech to the jury in the trial of Mr. Puska, who's 33, of Offaly, who denies the murder of 23-year-old school teacher Ms. Murphy on January 12th, 2020. And I think part of his defence was that he came to her aid. But anyway, that's going to come to a resolution really quite soon. Finally, in the Irish Daily Mirror this morning, almost a quarter of Derry Girls viewers looked into visiting Ireland within a month of watching the show. Data found that 23% headed to official holiday and travel guide at Ireland.com. Tourism Ireland, a cross-border body that promotes both the North and the Republic, sponsored the final series of the hit Channel 4 show. A draft tourism strategy for the North, published by its Department for the Economy, states screen tourism is growing at a phenomenal rate due to the popularity of Derry Girls and Game of Thrones. It states, with an average of 2.9 million viewers per episode, TV series Derry Girls has been an international success, connecting to audiences through its humour and storytelling. Does that surprise you? I am going to watch Derry Girls. I haven't got round to it yet. Can you see how it has a tourism benefit for the area? 08660 25,000. Right, let us take a break. We'll be back with our first guests on the programme very, very shortly. Stay right where you are.
The newspapers are courtesy of Kelly Centra Mountaintop Letterkenny, the 2022 C-Store National Off-Licence of the Year.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, offering low-rate car loans with fast approval. Apply online at letterkennycu.ie or in office today.
At Screwfix, you can click and collect over 10,000 trade products in as little as 1 minute. So whether it's a power drill in Portlaoise or guttering in Galway, when you need it yesterday, just click at screwfix.ie and collect at your local store 7 days a week. T's and C's apply. Visit screwfix.ie for full details.
Some years ago, I was the victim of a serious crime. The person serving a life sentence for that crime now has an opportunity to apply for parole. But I also have an opportunity to have my voice heard by the parole board.
Victims of a serious crime. Your voice counts in the parole process. Find out more and register at gov.ie/parole board or call 01 474 8770.
Uno, dos, tres. Ahena Doa 3. 1, 2, 3. The Arona, the Ateca and the Tarraco. 3 great SUVs from SEAT. And when you order during the SEAT 241 open event, each one of those is available with a free 3-year service plan, 3 years tyre insurance and 3 years roadside assistance. Visit SEAT.ie to find out more about our 241 open event from October 23rd to November 5th. Great things come in threes at DMG Motors, Donegal Town. Terms and conditions apply.
If the medical experts get it wrong, everything changes. From misdiagnosis or delayed diagnosis to surgical injury or even poor treatment, all have physical, emotional and financial consequences. We're here to help. So if your treatment didn't go according to plan, speak to our experienced medical negligence team at McElhenney and Associates. Find us online or call 074 917 5989. McElhenney and Associates Solicitors, Stranorlar. In contentious business, a solicitor may not calculate fees or other charges as a percentage or proportion of any award or settlement.
In In this week's RTE Guide, the rise of crime calls Carla O'Brien from Riverdance to the RTE newsroom. Our free 16-page Christmas recipe collection brimming with seasonal delights. From Dundee Dreams to Succession, Brian Cox's amazing journey. Everything and more. RTE Guide, on sale now.
Highland Radio time checks with Expressway. Travel Route 32 from Letterkenny to Dublin when you book online and travel for less. Expressway, bringing you the time at...
The time's 19 minutes past 9. Now, many of you want to keep talking about the traffic in Letterkenny, but interestingly, a lot of the messages start off with an apology as to, wanting to talk about it. But look, it's important to you, so don't worry about it. Take the lights off the actual roundabout. No need for them. Put left turn only on the road where it applies, says a listener. A few lights on the roundabout are confusing. One is on the island coming from the Derry side. The other is when you exit into the Derry Road. This is confusing, mostly older people, but the lights are managing the traffic, but the volume is too much. Another, these lights are classic reasons why people should not be given a lifetime driving licence and should be made resit their test once every 10 years. Road design upgrades, and they haven't a clue on how to use them. These lights on junctions are very common in other big towns and cities. Well, there's something interesting in that, because if you do your test in Donegal Town, for an example, you won't even encounter a traffic light or a complicated roundabout. And then you're given your licence and you can go and drive pretty much any way you like with no real test as to how you manage with certain junctions and light setups and what have you. I'm just using Donegal Town as an example because I know it as a fact. Greg, I hate to keep on about it, but the traffic this morning into Letterkenny, it's a bloody nightmare. Is that a swear word? I don't know. I've said it now. Another says, I can't understand. They spend billions. If you broke down, nobody can come get you. 4 lanes of traffic. It's a poo show. Ambulances can't get through. That's a disgrace. Who set that up? Nobody knows to go left or right. It's not right. Innocent people getting scraped or hit. Even buses don't know where to go. I was on a bus the last day. The light was red. He went through it. Nobody knows what to do. The RSA need to set up the rules of the road. There has to be rules. It's silly how they've done it. I noticed actually someone mentioned debris on the cycle lanes or the walkways yesterday. I noticed that's been cleaned up this morning, which is a delightful coincidence. So hopefully if you're on that route, you'll see the benefits of that. Colour-coded lanes is a waste of time because the middle lane doesn't go back far enough and it's not wide enough to go back further. Whoever designed that setup didn't see many roundabouts. Well, I'm sorry about my colour-coded suggestion. I was panicking. Last one before we go to our first guest. Yep, those Polestar traffic lights are certainly working wonders. Read the issue of road safety by seriously curbing the speed of motorists. Last evening, it took me 25 minutes to travel from Arena 7 to the Polestar roundabout, a distance of around about 1 kilometre. This works out at 40 minutes to cover a mile, or a speed of 1.5 miles per hour. Had a good bit of time on my hands to work that out, Greg. Now, if authorities could enforce that speed limit countrywide, what joy it would bring to safety, road safety in Donegal. That comes in from Jim N. Thanks, Jim. Keep them coming into us on all a range of topics, of course. 086 60 25,000. Any of you subscribe to Facebook? I got a notification yesterday from Instagram, stroke Facebook, under the guise of Meta, offering me an ad-free experience for $12.99 a month, €13 per month. And then it says your info won't be used for ads, and they're claiming this is about EU laws and privacy and blah, 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 blah. But are any of you going to pay the €13 a month? I would imagine it's going to become really difficult to use Facebook as they try and coerce us into paying €13 a month. But anyway, what did you think about it? I'm just going to crack on as a free user and just do what I did with Twitter. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I don't need it as such. But what about you out there? What do you think? €13 a month for Facebook, ads free. Did any of you sign up? Did Michael Leddy sign up for ad-free Facebook, Michael?
No, Greg, I did not.
Would you be tempted?
I don't intend to either.
No, you don't intend to?
No, I don't. I mean, like you said there, it's not something we need. I've been pulling away from Twitter, which I really loved and have always, I've always preferred it. But over the last year or so, it's become less interesting to me and to many of my friends as well. So I'm just using it a lot less. In fact, I did a search last night on Facebook, but it was on Twitter, if you know what I mean. I wanted to see if anyone else was experiencing some issues. And the research results were absolute rubbish. I mean, they really were. It was just, honestly, it was just random ladies, maybe with 1 or 2 likes. It was supposed to be the top results on the Facebook hashtag. It was just nonsense, and it reminded me it's just kind of a useless sort of
I don't know
website.
what Twitter is like to use or X is like to use if you pay for it, but it's you know your comments are suppressed if you don't pay, and also your experience is altered. And he's going to do more and more of that. You know, rather than incentivizing by offering features, I think really what they do is try and make the free version difficult to use. But I mean, $13.99 a month. Like if you've got Netflix or you've got, and we talk about this on a Friday, of course, you've got all the various other monthly subscriptions. $13.99 or is it $12.99 to use Facebook without ads? I don't know. I don't see it. Every fourth post is an ad. Really is what you're looking at there. All right, Michael. You're having problems actually posting to Facebook. What's going on?
Facebook, and it's the artificial intelligence. It's the fact that Facebook, you don't actually deal with people anymore so much at Facebook. And I'm just looking at their own literature on the matter here, and it just says, and I'm quoting, artificial intelligence, AI technology, is central to our content review process. AI can detect and remove content that goes against our community standards before anyone reports it. So this last few weeks, Facebook has taken a dislike to my TV reviews, which up to now, you're the only person I know who's taken a dislike to my TV reviews. But now Facebook has decided...
Is Facebook now not really effectively, though, doing God's work?
So what Facebook is doing, and here's the most recent example this week, which I know caught Caroline's eye. I had posted a review on my blog and then double pasted it to Facebook, and it was an obscure, I think, reasonably obscure 1960s science fiction series called The Time Tunnel, and I had reviewed an episode, a couple of harmless paragraphs, and an image. I think it's based around the images. So the post went up on Saturday night, and then on a Sunday evening, it's gone, and I get this warning, which is the 5th, I think, I've received in the last month. Your post goes against our community standards on nudity and sexual activity. And it goes on to say that I can't appeal this decision, but it explains that for various reasons, community standards have been violated. Now, it's all very humorous, and it's usually easy enough to fix. But for the time that it's taken down, there's like a black mark against your account. So obviously I use my account for a lot of other reasons, and some of them are reasonably important. I mean,
stuff, yeah.
Yeah. So until this is now, so far I've been very lucky because I can resolve each of these.
Yeah, but it's accusing you of something that really is, completely out of character as well, to suggest that you're to a particular platform that you're posting inappropriate material. Like, I know it's not the biggest deal in the world, but it is. It is an accusation against you that's completely untrue.
Absolutely. And I was curious, and I put it up on my own Facebook, then my normal page, just to see was anyone else experiencing this, because you're going to have a situation. I've been lucky so far because I have been able to get the post back up, because after you report it, I think it goes to a human being. But again, I can't be sure of that because you never hear from people anymore. But it does go back up.
I mean, is there a hierarchy of AI where, like, you've got the initial AI and then the AI's boss? I mean, I don't know what's going on.
Something like that. Yeah. You're going from R2D2 to a C3PO to use the
something along those lines. Yeah.
But the thing is, I'm wondering if anyone else has experienced this. And eventually it's going to be a problem. I experienced this on all of the social networks at some point or another, social media sites. Like there was Tumblr took down a comic book post of mine some years ago, but would not put it back up. It was just a Marvel comic from the 1980s.
Maybe that was copyright, no?
No, because it's a good question. No, you have a valid point. But no, I mean, thousands up there, and so have other people. It was specifically, again, on sexual grounds. That is a big trigger for them.
Yeah.
And they're obviously objecting to the image. But the image in this case and the images of other shows in the last few weeks, Time Tunnel has happened twice. And it's simply just the logo of the show, which is a sort of a blue background with white text on it. It's just very harmless. But for some reason, the AI doesn't like it. And aside from Facebook, this to me raises questions about AI. It's a big buzzword at the moment. We're all talking about all the things that AI can potentially do for us in society. But of course, AI, as you well know, makes a lot of mistakes. Elon Musk's self-driving cars have obviously been involved in an accident or two and stuff like that. So it's interesting to see that when it's used for something as basic as recognizing imagery and text, it can fall short. And I was curious as to how many other people have found their posts or their images have been flagged by Facebook, even though there's nothing even remotely objectionable in them.
Yeah, all right, okay. Well, we'll put it out there and see what our listeners say. It is a distraction, but also, again, you know, you don't want to dig too deep in it, but they are accusing you of doing something that clearly you're not doing as well. And also, I presume a certain amount of strikes against you, it's going to be a problem. But back to the payment stuff, you see, another thing that's going to start happening now is Facebook are going to start suppressing the reach of your posts. Which is the next thing. Do you know what I mean? So what they'll do is they boost the posts of people that pay. Which I think is a bit of and it's the only show in town really for a lot of people. You know, it's quite interesting. It's a funny turn of events. But anyway, hopefully you get all your situations sorted. We'll see if anyone. I've never been flagged for anything. I've never been flagged for anything. I've never been. You know how people get their pages cloned? Never been cloned.
I'll get on that this evening.
Huh?
I'll get on that this evening. I'll get the first chance I get.
It'll not be hard for me to figure out who did it if it happens now. But no, I've been really quite lucky in that regard. But anyway, listen, Michael, we'll chat to you Friday. Thanks for your time today. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye. Anyone else affected by that? 086 60 25,000 WhatsApps and texts to that number. We were speaking to Sinead at the end of the show yesterday. Her and her partner are effectively homeless, other than the fact that they have a caravan that's located close to the Polestar roundabout. But they can't get the council for whatever reason. We've contacted the council to see if they've anything to say about this, to get access to water or sewage. You know, to get rid of waste and what have you. So they're living in this caravan, no proper heat, no water, and they have to go out to other businesses really effectively to just wash themselves and what have you. And it's going to get minus sub-zero from Friday onwards for at least a short spell. This emailer says, Reece Sinead, who's been on the housing list for 6 years, how come we managed to house all the refugees that have come in the past couple of years? These people deserve to be housed, but for the government to state that we have it all sorted is wrong. There are still Irish people who are suffering. 12,000 are homeless. Right, okay, let's take a break.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook and at highlandradio.com.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union. Simplify your debts with a debt consolidation loan from Letterkenny Credit Union. Call us on 074 910 2126 or apply online via our app or in office today.
Are you a self-assessed income taxpayer? Use Ross Revenue's online service to pay and file online by Wednesday, November 15th. If you are not yet registered for Ross, do so today at revenue.ie. Avoid a surcharge, interest, penalties and a possible tax audit. Don't miss the November 15th deadline. Pay and file on time.
PDO thread lifts and skin boosters, which rejuvenate the skin by improving facial contours, lifting and tightening the jowls, neck, cheeks and eyebrows, are available at Genesis Aesthetics and Skincare Clinic, Gweedore. To choose the right aesthetic treatment for you, contact Mary Ferry, your aesthetic practitioner. Also offering fat-dissolving treatments, dermal fillers and laser treatments for all skin conditions. Hair and makeup packages also available. Genesis Aesthetics and Skincare Clinic, Gweedore. 07495 32575.
I've just had the Eclipse Cinemas experience. Wow, they truly have taken a night at the movies to a whole new level. Amazing recliner chairs, director's lounge VIP rooms, pizza and hot food served to your seat. Have a glass of wine and enjoy the film on the big screen. Try it for yourself at Eclipse Cinemas, Bundoran and Lifford Strabane, where the stars shine brighter. By the way, the pizzas are amazing. You can book your seat anytime at eclipsecinemas.ie.
Find a Volkswagen commercial vehicle that can keep up with you and your business, like our Caddy Cargo, Transporter 6.1, Crafter and the new Amarok. With HP finance from 4.9% and service plans from €12.99 per month. There's never been a better time to get a vehicle that works as hard as you do. Book your test drive now at your local Volkswagen commercial vehicles dealer or visit volkswagenvans.ie. Here's to the Volkswagen in you. Terms and conditions apply. Finance provided by way of hire purchase purchase agreement from Volkswagen Financial Services Ireland and subject to lending criteria. Volkswagen Financial Services Ireland Limited is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland. Visit volkswagenvans.ie for further information.
Order your 241 with Connolly's Volkswagen Letterkenny. See connellys.ie.
Businesses, order your gift vouchers for Christmas now from BizPrint the printers. Also personalised calendars, Christmas cards, diaries, draw tickets and much more at great prices from BizPrint, Port Road, Letterkenny. See bizprint.ie.
Yeah, so the debate is raging. It's across most of the media, both print and audio and TV, about these new government guidelines that have been approved by Cabinet to encourage parents to not purchase smartphones for primary school children. Deputy Joe McHugh is a former Minister for Education. He's with us now. Joe, good morning to you.
Good morning, Greg.
So what give us an understanding as a legislator what this phrasing is. So the Cabinet have agreed to encourage parents. So what does that really mean in layman's terms?
Look, sometimes and most times communities use their own initiative. And in fairness to a group of schools, I think it was 6 schools initially in Wicklow, they used their initiative and they said they were going to ban mobile phones outright. Now, I know that garnered a lot of media publicity. But when you speak to a lot of the principals in our own county in Donegal, a lot of principals and boards of management already have a policy in place that they don't allow mobile phones into primary schools. So to answer your question, what does the legislation do? Look, I don't think, even the memo to Cabinet will change much, but what it will do, it'll raise that awareness and that need to debate this issue. This issue is not just for primary school, it's also for secondary school. And I think it's also a debate that's needed for many people, including ourselves, our own generation, Greg, in terms of phone usage. And, when we put the phone down at night, is it 8 o'clock in the evening? Is it 9 o'clock? Or let's call a spade, is it midnight or 1 a.m? And it's a habit form. I know the London School of Economics did a survey a number of years ago. It maintains that it takes 66 days to form a habit. Most of us are in this habit, and I suppose the key thing for us is to introduce good habits, good phone habits, and most of the adult population don't have good phone habits, but I think that's the thinking behind it.
I think too also, I think that there's a lot of parents, guardians, caregivers that want to say no, a lot of schools that want to say no, but it's difficult because if the majority of the current generation, and I suppose this is almost about the 4, 5 and 6 year olds now rather than the 9, 10, 11 year olds now, and I could be misreading this, but it empowers parents change the culture a little bit, softly, do you know, that sort of way, so that maybe for the 5, 6, 7 year olds now who are becoming 9, 10, 11 year olds, that it's easier to say no, that everyone having a phone at school at that age is no longer the norm. So I kind of see the merit in that, and I think that's why I don't really think there's much of a debate here as such, because I don't see it as a war on phones or an imminent thing. I just see this as something that's trying to maybe change culturally things in a few years.
Yeah, I think you're right. And look, let's be honest. Schools have their own rules, and look, secondary schools, and I'm just thinking in one particular secondary school close to my own heart, where my own 2 kids are going, like, they're not allowed the phones in classroom. Like, they put it into their locker in the morning, and they get it at break time if they need be, if there's any messages. So I think it's creating that awareness. Yes, it's culture. But look, the big debate is what kids are doing outside of class, outside of school, and what time do young teenagers have phones at night time. So I'm not a big believer in just saying no for the sake of no. We need to explain it better. We need to explain why phones at the side of your bed, receiving text messages and sending WhatsApp messages at midnight and 1 a.m. You're not going to get a good
Sorry,
night's
Joe,
sleep.
I couldn't sleep. I just wanted to say hello. I mean, what's wrong with that? I'm only joking. I'm only joking, of course.
You never text after midnight, in fairness, Greg.
What do you think of the INTO's comments that this really, I mean, they're not worried about schools and phones, not phones and schools. Now, when they say they're not worried, I can understand the context in which the comment was made. But what they're saying is look, we've got an 800 shortfall in primary school teachers. It's heading towards 2,000. There's not enough career progression for those that have emigrated to come back because they're almost starting at zero. We did hear Leo Varadkar referencing some about the building of houses and looking at pay. But really, that is the real crisis in teaching at the moment. And we've got SETs being taken away from their important work to plug the gaps. I mean, I get why the phone story is kind of sexy, if you know what I mean, for the media and what have you, and for politicians. But I do take John's point that really the big issue is here is, you know, and maybe it's not as big an issue in Donegal, Joe, but it is an issue that we need teachers here, you know, because maybe looking at the phones is all the students have to do because there's no teachers to teach them.
Well, look, there's a crisis in teaching, and I know getting sub-teachers is a big issue. I know John Boyle has been very, very active on that over the years, and they've come up with new models and new ways of doing it. And some of these new strategies are working, but look, it's a demand-supply issue, and it's not a question of teachers going abroad. There's always going to be a percentage in the cohort teachers that are going to go abroad for a couple of years, but we do have a massive issue. Demographics are increasing. The demographics for the primary school system, the pressure was on them 10, 15 years ago. Now it's in the secondary school system. And at the same time, with immigration, the numbers are going up in primary school again. So look, it is the issue of the day. This phone issue, no, it's not the top priority issue by any means. Your show has been dedicated this last month to 6 weeks on health issues. We know the issues, but at the same time, one of the bad habits we all have is our overuse of the mobile phone, and I'm included in that as well.
Yeah, and I think it is actually a wider conversation. I think that's a point well made. Listen, Joe, thank you very much for your time today. I do appreciate it. That's Deputy Joe McHugh there, former Minister for Education, just getting his views on that hot topic. Again, it's like I'm sitting here and I'm talking about it on this programme. It's not one that exercises me particularly, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't be talking about it. I want to say good morning to Audrey, Dolores, Rosemary, Michael, Annie and Kathy. Apparently it's raining in London this morning. Kathy, I hope you stay in the dry. Thank you very much for all of you messaging us on social media, watching us on our YouTube and Facebook pages. My friend failed his driving test when he was taken to the Polestar roundabout 2 weeks ago. He'd never been taken there with the traffic lights when on his lessons. He was told he'd done brilliant at all other areas during the test, but went into the wrong lane on the roundabout, which is an instant fail. He now must pay for more lessons and wait for another test date. Very unfair. It is. Hopefully now he won't have to wait as long for a repeat test. I think you do get fast-tracked a little bit, so it's probably not going to be 6 or 7 months. But that's really unfortunate. My heart goes out to them because they're probably, very keen to get on the road. Was in Letterkenny yesterday evening. The lights weren't bad, but people also have to waken up and move when the light turns green. Can't just blame the lights. They do probably still need tweaking a bit further. Read the speed cameras. In Scotland, on the approach roads to villages and towns, there are speed limit signs, followed by a flashing sign showing your vehicle's speed. Then finally, cameras on an overhead gantry. And do you know what? It works. If you get caught speeding, you only have yourself to blame. There you go. Fair warning, fair signage, boom. You can't complain at that, can you? It's not shooting fish in a barrel because there's due warning, isn't it? Static speed cameras at Lurgy Brack and Clar. You could do 400 miles per hour because you still wait for 30 minutes at Kilross, McClay's Corner and Ballabafay Main Street. McGrory's Bray, I think I meant to say, if I didn't say McGrory's Bray, I meant that stretch of road there. But of course, it wouldn't work with what you're talking about in between. Greg, the talk is all about road deaths, and rightly so, but no talk of the 550 people who died from mistakes in our hospitals last year. We talk about that extensively, and they're two very serious issues. Fixing one won't fix the other, and we talk about all of those issues at different times. I take your point. The Garda Commissioner would be better employed out on the roadways protecting the citizens of Ireland rather than sitting in on these committees being interrogated by politicians. Sad for the loved ones who've gone on before. Right, okay. We're going to go to our next guest, but first we're going to take a very quick break.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union. Digital loans now available. Apply online or via our app today and get your loan transferred directly to your current account.
At Connect Hearing, our audiologist is available Monday to Friday for hearing tests and wax removal services at our Letterkenny Clinic in the Courtyard Shopping Centre. From now until the end of November, we are offering a free wax removal service for all those over 60 years of age. Our hearing is our social sense. Are you finding hearing more of a challenge? Call Ursula today on 07491 13296 to make an appointment. Good hearing helps us to connect to our family, friends and loved ones. Connect Hearing, connecting you to life.
When you choose Chadwick's, you get the best branch network. Now get the best value with our autumn sale. Save over €180 on the Waterford Stanley Usheen Black Stove. Now only €695. Great value on Chadwick's brand toolboxes and organisers. Huge savings on DeWalt power tools and Pro Plus petrol tools. Plus lots more offers in store across all departments. Shop online at chadwicks.ie or visit your local branch. Chadwick's.
Let's get it done!
Easy Living Furniture would like to invite you, our customers, to our annual Family and Friends event this Thursday, the 9th of November from 1 o'clock. We'll be offering a magical 50% off all Christmas stock for one day only, including Christmas trees, decorations, baubles, garlands, wreaths, and so much more. Don't miss out on our most enchanting sale of the year. Visit Easy Living Furniture, Crescent Link Retail Park this Thursday from 1 p.m.
Exploring your university choices? Come along to our ATU Donegal Open Day, Thursday, 9th of November from 9:30am till 2pm on our Letterkenny campus. With 10 department talks, guided campus tours and special guest speaker, the study coach, Dr. Sean Lally, joining us on the day. You can find out about all our programme offerings and see the amazing facilities ATU Donegal has to offer. Register today at atu.ie/Donegal Open Day.
Highland Radio weather updates brought to you by Grant. From condensing oil and HVO biofuel boilers to heat pumps and underfloor heating, you can trust Grant to heat your home. Visit grant.ie.
You're very welcome back to the programme. It'll be fresh and bright morning with plenty of sunshine. Showers will spread from the west during the morning, becoming frequent during the afternoon and evening. Some of the showers will be heavy with a risk of hail and thunder. Temperatures 8 to 11 degrees. Good morning. Jude Morrow, CEO and founder of Neurodiversity Training. Thank you so much for joining us, and a big congratulations, Jude, on winning the Best New Start at Intertrade Ireland's Seed Corn NI Awards. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Greg. It's lovely to be here and catching up with you again.
Yeah, fantastic. Can we begin by talking about neurodiversity, what it is and how it affects people?
As I say everywhere I go, and at the risk of sounding like Morpheus from The Matrix, neurodiversity is everywhere. It is all around us. Neurodiversity is an important component of the human existence. It's as important as biodiversity, geodiversity, gender diversity, and it's the idea that some of us out there, like me, have different minds, and that's okay. Instead of some minds, like my autistic mind, being viewed as a disordered mind or a broken mind, that it's a perfectly acceptable mind and a diverse mind. That's
so
what
that we're
neurodiversity
clear,
is.
neurodiversity then, it's an umbrella term.
It is. Neurodiversity captures everybody. So neurotypical would be the majority of the population, and neurodivergent would be like me, autistic, ADHD, dyslexic, dyspraxic, etc., etc.
Okay, and talk to me about the neurodiversity training.
Well, with neurodiversity training, what happened was I was a social worker for a long time, and I wrote a book about my experiences of growing up as an autistic child in the mainstream school system. It was just a bit of a hobby project, but then all of a sudden people were asking me to come in and do training in their schools and their community groups and their organisations, and it's grown and scaled all over the world. We've done training for every continent now, including the South Pole. So it's kind of grown up and up and up over the last 3 years since we've come into existence, because with DEI, diversity, equity and inclusion, neurodiversity is seen as a really, really key component, and we are proudly at the spearhead of making neurodiversity aware places and a normality in society.
And is it's coming across? Are you trying to change phraseology? Do you see that as really important?
We're not just trying to change phraseology and symbols. We're trying to change mindsets and attitudes, and this is the example that I can always give. What I find really, really hard in life is tying my shoelaces and tying knots. Right, but what I can do well is I can tie a parachute to myself and go skydiving in my free time. But here's the issue, though, Greg, is that people will focus on the Jude Morrow who can't tie his shoes rather than the Jude Morrow that can put a parachute on and jump out of a plane or a helicopter or whatever. That's what we want to change. We want people to take a strengths-based approach and focus on what people are good at rather than what we may be, I suppose, challenged by in comparison to our peers, whether that's our school peers, our colleagues, our friends, neighbours, loved ones, spouses, etc.
Yeah, and I just wonder if sort of that attitude that we have as humans often goes far beyond neurodiversity, that we often, see the negative in people before we see the positives.
And that's absolutely true. And that's rooted in Freudian psychology. I mean, whenever we were early humans, we had to keep ourselves safe. We do have an inherent survival instinct. So what we do is we point out things which maybe aren't the norm in order to protect ourselves, because if you were to ask me in one question, what's the biggest challenge that autistic people face? It's not that we lack social skills. It's not that we have communication difficulties. It's the fact that so many people have unconscious negative bias toward us. And that's what we're doing, is we're challenging that completely to, I suppose, shape hearts and minds and practicalities from looking at what people perceive to be deficiencies, but rather honing in on their greatest strengths and gifts, because that's how people thrive.
Right, so talk to us about the training, who it's provided to, and its format and outcomes.
Well, at the start, we were doing training sessions for schools and workplaces, for the general staff, for the management, HR, leadership in schools. I was doing for teachers and classroom assistants, and then parents in the afternoon. But what we thought earlier this year, is it really working? The one and done training day, coming in for a day, telling some skydiving jokes, and whatever else. Is it really working? And we kind of decided earlier this year that it wasn't. So what we did this year is we went in a radical new direction, in that we wanted to launch an app that anybody at any stage of their journey, whether it's parents of autistic kids or newly diagnosed adults, could jump in, get live weekly learning classes, Q&A sessions, and a full social feed for less than the price of a single counselling session every year. Because the truth is, Craig, families and autistic adults and kids out there feel abandoned. Do you know what I did in preparation for this interview? I wanted to count how many times I had been invited to a public demonstration or to address a rally in the last 5 years, because autistic people and their parents and families feel abandoned. Do you know what the number was? 26. 26 event organisers and rally organisers and protesters had asked me to come and address their rallies. And the reason why is because all these people want to come together because they feel abandoned. Mm-hmm. So what we wanted to do, even for parents and families and anybody that wants to learn about the topic, is that we have a one-stop shop app now. And that's what concept and what idea got us the Seed Corn Award a couple of weeks ago. And the grand final for All Ireland is actually tomorrow night.
And we wish you every success in that. Jude, what's the impact sort of this conversation, your enthusiasm, your approach to this, what impact does it have on people with autism or ADHD who all of a sudden feel like they find their place, or that there's someone in you who's seeing the positives in them? I can imagine for some it is an amazing experience that it turns everything on their head, because we often feel what we feel society thinks of us, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, of course. And the impact it has is colossal, because for families, as I say, there's one emotion that governs the entire community, whether you're autistic, not autistic, or even just interested in this topic, and it's loneliness and isolation. People feel left behind. So what people can do now is almost on its own social media platform in the ND sphere is connect with each other. And we're getting connections and getting members and educators and businesses from all over the world to buy into this. And for the first time in a long time, people aren't feeling alone, because one thing that upsets me, not just about, locally, but I suppose internationally, is, people pulling the same lever and expecting a different outcome. Because whenever I go out and talk about my experiences being autistic, people say, oh, I can totally relate to that, working through that now. But whenever I'm talking about it, I went through it in the 90s. Mm-hmm. So I suppose instead of being a soapboxy troll, we wanted to make a change. And look, I know that Jude, there are people out there that struggle.
Yeah, but to some extent, Jude, and I like to have the conversations out in the front rather than sort of, so I don't want to be offensive or anything, right? But say, for instance, you had a physical disability. and we were speaking now, it'd be very clear that, it could be very clear. Sorry, it wouldn't be very clear, but it could be. So say, for instance, I could see a wheelchair, that we're sitting in a wheelchair. But you have to identify that you have autism, ADHD. Do you know what I mean? Is that part of it? In other words, that we as humans, and you'll know much more about this than I in terms of our development as humans, that unless we can literally see it, we don't seem to get it.
Of course, invisible disabilities is a real thing. And what we want to kind of put at the forefront is coming out, so to speak, because for a lot of us, being autistic is something that we're very proud of. Now, we don't dismiss anybody that has challenges and higher levels of support needs, but what we do believe is that every human, regardless of ability, has inherent value and worth. And even whenever people say to me, like if I bump into a parent in a supermarket, they'll say, oh, this is my son called John, and then they'll whisper, they'll say, he's autistic.
Yeah.
And, I'm sort of like, one thing, standing right here, it's what I talk about. But it's that kind of hushed tones and attitude that we want to, remove, is that no matter what someone's level of ability is that being autistic is an integral part of someone's identity. And no matter what, there'll still be something that they're good at, and they'll have special gifts and can bring joy to other people. And that's the message we want to share.
And there's a few actors that have a role in this. You can do your bit in terms of speaking publicly. The media can do its bit in terms of platforming that as well, because obviously you have now tools like social media to reach people and what have you. But also, it's very important too that every outlet that can have a role in promoting this conversation and awareness and these initiatives do so. Listen, congratulations on what you've achieved so far, Jude, and the best of luck tomorrow night. It's already a fabulous achievement. Is the Endosphere app, and it's ENDEESPHERE, that is a freely available app. Like, who should or could access it, if you know what I mean? Is it for teachers and businesses, or for everybody?
Well, primarily it's for parents of kids and for adults just starting on the journey, but anyone can join in. It's on App Store and Google Play, so it's there, it's ready to go. It's a one-stop shop, and it can be accessed immediately. All
right, again, good luck with the awards tomorrow, and congratulations on all your achievements so far. Great to see you again, Jude. Take care. Jude Morrow there, CEO and founder of Neurodiversity Training. 08660 25,000. Hi, Greg. Can I jump in here? Of course you can. Welcome. The Taoiseach Leo Varadkar is now saying that basically Ireland is full, yet when concerned Irish citizens said the same thing, the politicians were quick to denounce them as far-right and fascist. I think sometimes it's how conversations are argued. I think we've been having a conversation in Donegal for quite some time that it's about a lot of it's about pressure on services and how can you provide the services, schools, GPs, acute care and what have you, to a population that increases so rapidly. I think lots of people have been having that conversation in the right way, and then obviously there's some people do it in different ways, and maybe the bus tickets cost 85 to stand and is worth every cent. Where's that? I read an article, I thought it was 135. I was looking at Croke Park, by the way, but anyway, I'll double check that. If Donegal County Council had money, that's what I was thinking. It's 168 to sit, isn't it, Caroline? And I think it's 135 on the pitch or something, or 140 standing. How much is it standing? 168 standing. And what about if you want to sit down on your bum or whatever other part of your body? We don't know. So you've half the information, Caroline. That's not research. That's not producing. Okay. Right. But anyway, maybe it's different in Belfast, because I heard Lee reference Belfast and I just heard the Croke Park piece. But we'll get clarification on that. And listen, maybe it's a great night out, but 160 quid, maybe 200 on a hotel room, diesel up and down. That's why these Highland trips, I'm not saying we're doing one to Bruce. I don't know what the story is there, but that's why they're often such good value, because it eliminates a lot of the extra costs or reduces them. I cannot believe, and I mean this hand on heart, that we're already an hour into the show. So we'll be back after the news and obituary notices with loads more on Wednesday's 9 till noon show. Stay right where you are and keep those text calls and those voice notes to 086 60 25,000 coming into us.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union. Now offering mortgages from €40,000 to €600,000 with no hidden fees or transaction charges. Letterkenny Credit Union, 9102127.
Why wait until Black Friday? At Right Price Tiles and Wood Flooring, we're offering our Black Friday deals right now. Get up to 70% off all tiles, all wood flooring and all bathware. Everything's reduced and everything's in stock. The 70% off Black Friday sale at Right Price Tiles and Wood Flooring. Stores nationwide. Sale now on.
New season of fabrics have arrived in store at Fabric World Maydown. On trend and in stock, we have all the fabrics you need. Thousands of curtains, upholstery and craft fabrics at incredible stock prices. Call in for your free curtain design and quotation at Fabric World Derry. Great Euro rates for all our Euro customers.
Charlie McClafferty Funeral Directors, serving Letterkenny and the surrounding areas for over 100 years. Charlie McClafferty Funeral Directors. Let our family take care of your family and guide you through a difficult time.
Are the signs of aging creeping up on you? Are you not happy with the way you look or feel? At Letterkenny Medics Private Clinic, we're here to help you, offering Botox anti-wrinkle injections, derma fillers, skin bio injections, Botox treatment for grinding and clenching teeth, hyperhidrosis that aids excessive sweating. Let our doctors help bring back your confidence and look after what is important to you. To see what real results really look like, book your immediate appointment with no waiting times at letterkennymedics.ie. Letterkenny Medics, we listen if you want to talk. Are you ready for Deal Day November? Irwin Expert Electrical are bringing you mega savings this November on your favourite brands like LG, Samsung, Dyson and Fitbit. Shop smart, save big and stay tuned to Irwin Expert Electrical on social media for the exciting daily deals. All eligible for the Christmas layaway service.
Transform your home with a visit to McGinley's Furniture Letterkenny, located at the Portlink Business Park just off the Port Road. You'll find a huge selection of top quality suites, beds and mattresses, also slide robes and custom-made dining and occasional furniture, with prices to suit every budget. See the great choice for yourself at our showroom, McGinley's Furniture, Portlink Business Park, Port Road, Letterkenny. Click mcginleysfurniture.com.
Live, on air, online and on the Highland Radio app. This is Highland Radio News.
Good morning, it's 10 o'clock. Donald Kavanagh at the news desk. A senior Garda says she does not believe that increased road deaths are caused by a lack of Garda numbers. Deputy Commissioner Anne-Marie McMahon says road crashes haven't increased in the areas where the numbers of Gardaí working on roads policing has reduced. 165 people have been killed on Irish roads so far this year, 10 more than in the whole of last year. Last week, Susan Gray, the chair of the road safety organisation PARC, expressed grave concern about the reduction in Garda numbers in Donegal, particularly in the roads policing section, and asked for immediate action to address that. Well, Deputy Commissioner McMahon acknowledges there are issues with Garda numbers, but she is urging people not to jump to conclusions.
A lag in recruitment, competing demands with other resources, everything from community policing all the way to the various specialist units that we have. And there is a requirement for all of those units. And we have a finite amount of resources. I wouldn't like to give the impression that just because the roads policing units have shrunk somewhat in numbers, that it has anyway lessened our focus, our commitment to road safety.
A Donegal deputy says it's important to understand the process required to see works on the A5 come into fruition. Deputy Joe McHugh says the publication of a report from the Planning Appeals Commission is of utmost importance. West Tyrone MP Orla Begley said yesterday the project could start in a matter of months, but it's important the Irish Government now follows through on its funding commitments. Deputy McHugh says it's his understanding that is the case.
As far as I'm concerned, no matter what government would be in there, it would be a very unwise decision not to follow through on this commitment. It's really important to have this network built, both, as I mentioned earlier, in relation to safety and people who have lost their lives in the recent past and before that as well, and also the potential danger for future loss of life in this road. So it's of immediate concern to everybody, and it's important that this project starts moving and goes through the process.
A group of Donegal GPs will meet with senior Celta management today. The meeting, which will be attended by CEO Tony Canavan and other senior figures from the organisation will focus on timely care of patients at Letterkenny University Hospital's emergency department, as well as timely access to urgent outpatient appointments across a range of specialities. Dr. Pádraig McGuinness is welcoming the meeting. He says it'll highlight concerns, and he's looking forward to hearing how Celta will level up services for the hospital in Letterkenny and patients across Donegal. He says they're continuing to press for an external review of the hospital and its funding, and for Minister Stephen Donnelly to visit the hospital and speak to them in person.
We really welcome this initial meeting with senior management at the Celta Group, and we welcome the opportunity to outline our serious patient safety concerns as GPs. We've got three main asks for Tony Canavan and his team today. For the medical assessment unit at Letterkenny to be up and running and protected with GP access. We're asking for timely access to urgent outpatient appointments for patients with serious medical conditions, including those patients with suspected cancers. And we continue to call for an external review of the hospital and of its funding. We look forward to hearing from the management team today about what plans that they've put in place to level up the hospital with the rest of the Celta Group, making it safer and more equitable for our patients here in Donegal.
John Butcher has been appointed as the new PSNI Chief Constable. He served as the former head of the Bedfordshire Police in the UK and recently worked as interim Chief Constable. He takes over the position from Simon Byrne, who resigned in September following a number of crises under his leadership. Mr Butcher is best known for leading Operation Canova, which investigated the RUC's links to the controversial IRA double agent Freddie Scappaticci, known as Steak Knife. Scientists, engineers, healthcare staff and construction workers are the skills that will be most in demand in the years ahead. The National Skills Bulletin for 2023 has been published today. It identifies skill gaps and the areas in which people need to be trained and upskilled. Higher Education Minister Simon Harris says it will lead to more investment in apprenticeships and third-level options.
It very clearly identifies science and engineering, construction, health and social care, transport, logistics, hospitality and ICT. These are the main kind of headline areas where it believes we need more people. The encouraging news, and I suppose the purpose of the bulletin, is to make sure that your education partners come together and respond to that. The encouraging news is we are now seeing a very significant increase and expansion of training places in many of these areas.
Weather forecast and Met Éireann tell us it'll be a fresh and bright morning with plenty of sunshine. Showers spreading from the west during the morning, becoming frequent in the afternoon and evening, some of them heavy with a risk of hail and thunder. Blustery with maximum afternoon temperatures hitting 8 to 11 degrees Celsius in fresh to strong and gusty southwest winds. And that's Highland Radio News. We're back with headlines again at 11. Don't forget, of course, you can keep up to date with all the day's news on our website, highlandradio.com. But for now, from the news team, have a very good morning.
The obituary notices this Wednesday morning, November 8th. The death has taken place of Frankie Fletcher, 19 Cornmill Avenue, Buncrana. Removal from McLaughlin's funeral home at Buncrana today at 1 o'clock, going to his sister's Anne's residence, St Oran's Road, Buncrana. Viewing time from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. today and 11 a.m. until 9 p.m. tomorrow. Funeral from there on Friday at 9:30 a.m, going to St Mary's Oratory for 10 o'clock. Requiem Mass with burial afterwards in Cockhill Cemetery. Requiem Mass can be viewed online at churchservices.tv. Family time from 11 p.m. to 10:30 a.m. The death has taken place of Alana Harkin, Falmore, Glenealy. Alana's remains are reposing at her home. Funeral Mass on Friday morning at 11 a.m. in St Mary's Church, Bochen, Kildaff, followed by burial in the adjoining graveyard. Family flowers only. Donations, if desired, to the neonatal unit, Letterkenny University Hospital, care of any family member. Funeral Mass can be viewed live on kildaffparish.com. The death has occurred of Samuel Sammy Sheehan, 2 Westbrook, Buncrana, Donegal, and formerly of 16 Rathowan Park, Derry. Sammy's remains are reposing at his home. Funeral from there tomorrow morning at 10 a.m, going to St Mary's Church, Cockhill, Buncrana, with burial afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. Funeral can be viewed on churchservices.tv. For family information and more details regarding wakes and funerals, please go to highlandradio.com.
just pop the stamp on the top corner. There.
Here, Mum?
Yep. Good job.
Yay!
What's happening?
Look, it's snowing.
There's Tin Man in the garden.
Whoa.
He's with?
No way!
Ho, ho, ho!
Santa!
The magic of Christmas all begins with a card. Get 2 free cards and 4 free stamps when you buy a Christmas stamp booklet. On Post, for your world. T's and C's apply.
The county's #1 talk show, the 9 till noon show on Highland Radio.
08660 25,000. You're very welcome back to the programme. Just had a message from a listener overnight who preferred not to speak publicly, and it reads as follows. I just want to highlight to you and maybe let a few of your listeners know to be extra vigilant that I got scammed yesterday by €1,400. People called my phone pretending to be from Permanent TSB and had all my details, my address, my date of birth, my name, and said there was a security breach. So as I was on the phone, I got a text with a one-time passcode and they asked me to read it out to them for security reasons. And that was their way of putting through the transaction. So that's just from a younger listener there. Thank you very much for helping us to spread the awareness. So really be really careful. They lost €1,400. It's people purporting to be from PTSB. They had details which might make it convincing, your address, date of birth, name and what have you. And the way they did the scam is they said there was a security breach on the account. They would send a one-time passcode via text. And that's for security reasons. Again, sounds convincing, doesn't it? And once that was inserted or whatever happened next, they lost €1,400. So just to be careful of that now. It could be from Ulster Bank. Well, probably not Ulster Bank now, but any of the banks, PTSB, AIB, Bank of Ireland. It's not the lending institutions that are the problem. It's the scammers. So just be careful. Congratulations. First placed poem in the English language category of the 2023 Francis Browne Multilingual Poetry Competition is Disguises by Deirdre Hines. Well done, Mum. Can you please play a request and wish a happy 60th birthday to a very special lady called Claire Mooney. She's in Burt. She's the best friend and sister-in-law in the world that I could wish for. Looking forward to partying to the wee small hours with her at the weekend. Love from Adele, Stephen, Gavin and Laura Russell. Thank you. More than happy to do so. Sounds good. Party at the weekend. My child was told he could control his Tourette's. I would love if Highland Radio spent a full morning on neurodiversity, because we have 2 teenagers with ADHD, ASD and Tourette's, and absolutely not enough people in community are aware of hidden disabilities. Well, this is what we're here for. We'll work on that and see what we can do, dedicate a Monday focus to it or something. Anything that we can do that helps people like you and to raise awareness and make you feel heard and supported, I am very keen to do. Just to let you know, regarding neurodiversity, there's a group for people who hear voices that other people can't. It's every Tuesday, 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. at Create a Link Building, Pierce Road, Letterkenny. That's behind the Charlie's Cafe and beside Cara House. The group offers a safe space to talk about these phenomena and support and encouragement. You won't be pathologised, just a friendly, safe space. People who hear voices, psychosis, etc. are not dangerous or special in any way, just want to get along in life without prejudice or discrimination. That comes in from Owen. More than happy to mention that, Owen, and we have actually spoken about that before on the programme not too long ago, although between the jigs and the reels it's hard to keep track of time, I find sometimes. But it's certainly something, another issue that we could I definitely had 2 guests in here talking about that not too long ago. Congratulations to Jude, who you had on before the 10 o'clock news. Well said and well done. That comes in from Mary. Back to the traffic lights. Do you want to comment on that? That's okay. Interesting this morning, when the light was red at the Polestar, as I looked around me, a lot of the drivers were on their phones. It's become such a habit to lift your phone and check it despite it being illegal. Then when the light goes green, they're not ready to take off, hence adding to the delay. I personally feel the public need to take responsibility for the issue with the lights. Ask Greg, does he think it's okay for children to have mobiles with them, 5 years of age? Is it okay for them to take them to school? I wouldn't have thought so. I'm very at pains to comment on what other parents do with their children, because often you just don't know the reasons, the motivations. Obviously, on the face of it, 5-year-old taking a phone into school, What apps do they have? I mean, do they have our own phone number? I don't know. Is it a particularly worried parent that has everything else switched on and wants to be able to send a message to see if they're okay? I don't know. I really don't feel I'm in a position to judge anyone. So I don't know. On the face of it, would that be for me? No, it wouldn't be for me. Would I criticise a parent without knowing the reasons why? No, I wouldn't either. Greg, here's a joke for you and your listeners about Facebook. They barred me because I called my female grandchild a wee darling in a message to her on her 21st birthday. They said it was contrary to the community standards. LOL, Mary. Oh, Mary, you can call me a wee darling anytime you like, and I guarantee you won't be banned. It's a little annoyance. I know there's some very serious things going on in the world, but let's talk a little bit about little annoyances. There's a lot of milk drank in our house, and dependent on the milk, when you take the lid off, there's a little plastic ring. There's a little plastic ring that remains on the carton. I never remembered to take it off. I suppose the easiest thing in the world to do would be just to take that little plastic ring off. But not every morning, about 3 mornings a week, I am making tea and I tip the carton and off comes this little ring straight into the cup, and I have to fish it out, burn my finger, try and find it with a spoon. It's a little annoyance. Doesn't matter. It's no big deal. I'm not complaining. I know there's much worse happening in the world. But do you have any other little annoyances like that? For me this morning, it was that little plastic ring on the milk carton falling into the tea again, and I have to go rooting around for it. It's a little annoyance. No big deal. Do you have any little annoyances? Share them with us. There must be something on a day-to-day basis that happens and you go, oh, it's nothing, but it's a pain in the bum. 086 60 25,000. Share your little annoyances with us, or give us a call on 074 91 25,000. Maybe there's a few light-hearted ones out there to lift our spirits. As I say, I know it's not important. Don't give out to me, but that plastic ring falling into the cup is my little annoyance. What is yours? Kevin is a typical of why the lights are not working for him. People have little experience of the system with the junction, and that's the issue. That's Kevin, who was on with us yesterday. It's not the traffic lights or roundabouts' fault. It's the people who don't know how to use them. Says a lot of people, actually. Another, drivers, brake lights, cars, litter off footpaths, driver speed. Why is this caller only concerned by e-scooter riders? I see more drivers break the laws every day. I suppose it's e-scooters in car parks and footpaths that is the issue. Hi, Greg. On the school lunching, how come some schools get it and some don't, and some get hot food every day? Would you not think all the schools should get it just like everybody gets the family allowance or the light bill money? I'll dig into that. I'm not sure of the criteria. Is it DESH schools at the moment? I'll have to double check that. Do away with the Polestar roundabout, put on traffic lights only. That's a bit like a crossroads. Again, there's so many people, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people texting in on this issue. The traffic in Stranorla this morning was brutal. Can't get up or down Avenue to St. Columba's College. The main street is totally blocked at Kew and queued up Avenue, and Kew coming down Avenue has nowhere to go. Can it not go one way somehow? It's shocking this morning. Can someone tell me Avenue, just so I understand the listeners? Because that's come in a couple of times, and I just can't think of where Avenue is in Ballabufey, Stranorla. Right. Good luck if you're playing the bingo today. We want you to win a couple of €100. Here's the numbers to do so, hopefully.
It's time for NCBI Bingo on Highland Radio.
It's Wednesday, the 8th of November. You're playing on the blue sheet. The reference number is S3. It's game number 45. The numbers are 57, 56, 82, 84, 85, 18, 62, 11, 43, and finally 39. Phone your claim to 9104833 before 8 tonight, leaving your name, contact number and the name of the shop where you purchased your book, and we'll call you back the next working day. Get all your NCBI bingo information at highlandradio.com.
Jason Quigley here. Professional boxing is back in Donegal. Rumble in the Hills Pro Show takes place November 18th in the Aura Leisure Centre, Letterkenny. Irish Olympian Joe Ward headlines the bill, which also sees lightweight Celtic title fight between James McGivern and Josh Stanford, with many other top-class fighters on the card. Tickets available now at elitesportspromotions.co.
Hi,
Hi, Kate Appleby here. Just wanted to let you all know my exciting new autumn shoe collection is available nationwide in all good shoe stores. KateAppleby.com. Hope you enjoy my shoes.
The move to electric is on, with Kia powering ahead in electric vehicle technology. Take the stylish Kia Niro EV, the multi-award-winning EV6, or the all-new EV9 with space for up to 7 people. Order your 241 model now to avail of flexible finance options, a free home charger, and a €500 super value gift card. T's and C's apply.
Visit Hearn Auto, Donegal Town for your 241 Kia.
If you've lost someone close, it could help to talk. Why not call the Bereavement Support Line on 1-800-807077. Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We're here to listen. Managed by Irish Hospice Foundation and supported by the HSE.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union. Seasonal loans now available for Christmas. Apply online or via our app today and get your loan transferred directly to your current account.
You're very welcome back. Delighted to welcome onto the programme now Nicola Tallant, author of Cocaine Cowboys, The Deadly Rise of Ireland's Drug Lords. Good morning to you, Nicola. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning.
I think this is, perhaps it would always have been timely, but it feels particularly more so to be publishing a book on cocaine now. And I think the penny is dropping nationally that this isn't an urban problem. It's not with any particular group of individuals or with a particular background. And it's pretty much accepted up here, Nicola, as you would know, that sometimes it would be easier to get cocaine than it might be a pizza. That's a quote that's been used up here a few times. So this really is coming at a time of great public awareness of the prevalence of cocaine use.
Most certainly. I mean, you'd swear I organised for that MV Matthew to lose a few tons off the coast. That just happened just as we were kind of coming up to the publication date. Yes, it's very timely. I mean, I suppose the book is a culmination of my work over the past 20 or more years, really. But yes, I think public awareness is finally, coming to the fore. The usage of it, the problem with demand, the problem with supply, and of course they both go hand in hand.
In terms of tracing, the arrival of cocaine into this country in a big way, how far back do we have to go?
Well, we go back to the early 90s, the late 1980s really, and the early 1990s, which sounds like a lifetime away. And that's really when it starts tumbling in down around West Cork, off. Obviously, it's been dropped off, or sometimes the ships have gone awry with weather, and you start to see it. And actually, at the time, the politicians were more concerned about cannabis use. See how times change. I mean, we're probably in our lifetimes maybe going to see that legalised in this country and others. And they were more concerned about it. But the cocaine was coming. They were, standing up in the Dole. They were looking for the Coast Guards to be given better binoculars. They were looking for one extra rib to be put out in the sea to patrol the seas for it. And nobody had any clue that this literally, and it's been called it a number of times, a tsunami was coming. Of course, the Colombians, first Escobar and those who followed him, were eyeing up Europe as a growth market. They had saturated the US with cocaine and they were producing so much of the stuff. And of course, there's been lots of political problems that have gone on there and in other countries which produce the cocaine. So they have all along upped the amount of product. Europe has welcomed it with open arms. And the fact of the matter is, well, maybe we don't feel this way, but Europe and Ireland is quite a rich country and people have a lot of disposable income to spend on socialising. And that's really why we're using so much of it.
And you can, in your book, trace it back to the beginnings and the individuals or organisations or gangs that really were at the forefront, and that's almost sounds like a positive, but I think you know what I'm saying, at the forefront sort of realising the demand. And of course, it is probably quite complicated to bring it in and distribute it and have all those wheels and cogs in place.
Well, it is and it isn't, because sometimes if you draw a straight shipping line, from the Caribbean coasts, you basically pass Ireland and you'll hit Spain. And they're the two places that, you see up in Donegal. Recently, there was bales of cocaine coming in. obviously something went awry out at sea. A lot of the times the big container ships are dropping loads with navigational tools on them and in waterproof containers, and other vessels are going out to pick it up. So the transport of it, yes, the transport of it is difficult. The difficulty is landing it safely. And once they land it or get it through the ports, really it sort of breaks up at that point. It's very difficult to make any difference with the seizures. But I think what happened was you had the beginnings of it coming in. You had Ireland, because it's quite a complex situation, and it's not just that we enjoyed taking it. You had Ireland coming, with the Celtic Tiger. You had a lot of employment. You had pretty much full employment for a long time, and I think we're back up to that situation now. And you also had a guy called Christy Kinahan, perfectly placed by the kind of late 1990s, with very, very ambitious, and placed out in Europe along with others who kind of ran out of the country around the time the Criminal Assets Bureau set up. And they were becoming big wholesalers. And obviously then what happened with Kinahan was his sons and their cohorts came of age, and they're very ambitious, and he places them in Spain. And the rest we all know. They just kept growing and growing as an organization. And, there's still an international effort to dismantle that organization now. I mean, we punch above our weight with, our Kinahans, definitely. They're the first really trans-global trafficking organization that has been produced from our tiny island.
Just briefly on that, what is the situation, as far as you're aware at this point, Nicola, in terms of getting them before Irish courts? There was some word a few weeks ago of, further meetings in terms of extradition or whatever it might be. What is the situation there? Are they, as far as we're aware, still in the UAE or in Dubai?
Yes, they're still there, and they haven't left there. There is that sort of political hand of friendship going out from the Garda Commissioner and others to the UAE, because in the background, the fact of the matter is the DPP, the Director of Public Prosecutions, has files on Christy Kinahan Sr. and his sons Daniel and Christopher Jr. And they are recommending, the Gardaí have carried out this vast 7-year investigation, and they have given all their what they have discovered to the DPP. They're looking for murder charges, directing of criminal organisation charges, etc. for them. That decision is likely to be made in the new year. And at that point, we're going to the UAE with a totally different picture. Up to now, people are calling for them to be brought back. The fact of the matter is, if they're brought back today, they could walk free. They could walk out of Dublin Airport and be free, because we don't have charges for them. We do obviously have charges for one of their cohorts, Sean McGovern, who remains free in Dubai as well. So I think coming into 2024, if we get back those directions and the DPP says, yes, I want them in the Special Criminal Court, then we're going out politically to say these are wanted for, serious charges. And Dubai have given back others,
Yeah.
They've given back a lot of the Dutch and the Italians and everything. We've no extradition treaty because we don't really agree with their laws. And we couldn't obviously send anyone back there for some of the things they'd put somebody on trial for. But they have sort of look, they're sheltering a huge amount of organised criminals, and there's an awful lot of money laundering going on there. But they're trying to put on a face for the international community and look as if they're not doing that. So I do believe they will hand them back, and we'll probably see them in court, which will be another bloody 10 years of work on this story. But anyway.
And now you have to do the podcasts as well as everything else.
Yeah.
No, it's just a fascinating story. So someone who is a boxing fan, I kind of looked at it as a different way, because I could see their involvement and what they were doing, and it's just been a remarkable story to watch unfold. Just back to the book, Nicola, if you don't mind. So, we have the beginnings and where we have now, and you've touched on some of the main players and all, but how do you tell us the story in terms of, the spread of cocaine, maybe some of the more famous people that have succumbed to the drugs? So talk us a little bit more about that narrative throughout the book and how we get to current day.
So I've tried to sort of weave this narrative through the book to show how basically this underworld that we talk about and the characters within that sort of collide nearly with high society because of cocaine. And you have a huge amount of incidents over the years. A lot of it centred around City West and the Mansfield properties and territories. And of course, a Criminal Assets Bureau case recently found that Daniel Kinahan and Thomas Bomber Kavanagh, another big cocaine lord currently jailed in the UK, delivered 4.5 million in cash to the Mansfield home for it to be laundered through the property business. I mean, this is an extraordinary story in itself, that the richest family in Ireland, headed by the patriarch, the late Jim Mansfield Sr., there was always rumours going round about them, but nobody ever really could put their finger on it or whatever. And of course, the economic crash ended up causing them huge problems because they lost everything into the receivers, both the clean money investments and the dirty ones. And, in a way, that's kind of nearly a book in itself. But I have tried to sort of weave that and show the sort of the darkness of the cocaine wars and that growing violence that, I mean, really, in the last couple of years, Drogheda, which is a large town, but it could be any town. It could be any town in Donegal or anywhere that happened in. That was a fight over turf. And it was older drug lords sending out young, groomed, radicalised teenagers to fight their corners in this tit-for-tat row, which culminated in the murder and dismemberment of a 17-year-old. A horrendous story. And you've all those kind of things going on while you have, high society smiling for the cameras and you're mixing with these people that are selling the drugs. It's quite interesting, all of that. And I suppose I've also tried to thread through it those warning signs about the demand, those reports that were coming out that were pointing to the problems that Ireland in particular currently has. I mean, we're one of the biggest cocaine users on the globe. Ourselves, Australia, Spain and the Netherlands seem to me to be just partying 24/7 with the stuff. We're really sort of punching above our weight in all angles with this.
Yeah, okay. It's going to be a fascinating read. And I mean, to some extent, I think even in Donegal, more interest now. And you kind of get a background as to how millions of euro of drugs could wash up in a beach. Not specifically that case, but how the country has come to a situation where that can happen. And it is only the tip of the iceberg.
Exactly. And, in particular, counties like Donegal, where the fishing industry and the maritime industry is so big and an employer, etc. Like, the problem is that because of cocaine, corruption and, threats have filtered into every part of society. You have a big shipping giant like Maersk coming out recently saying, we have a problem here. We don't know how to protect our workers from this. And the fishing industry is really at risk. There's temptations there for people, to earn money, to do what they believe is, a high-risk job, but hopefully they can land something in. But there's also, I get reports all the time. I'm talking to colleagues of mine in Belgium, in the Netherlands and other places with problems, reports of people working in the fishing industry literally being shown pictures of their children and being told, you do this for us or else. And what would you do in that situation?
And then internally, people maybe based in Donegal who work during the week, and other counties as well, working during the week in Dublin, effectively transporting the stuff back home in inverted commas, and it happens all the time. We hear about it. Indeed, one sniffer dog. We got one sniffer dog last year. It was a big news story up here, Nicola. You just when you talk about the fishing industry and what have you, one sniffer. But we couldn't actually find out if it's based in Donegal or if it's covering Sligo, Leitrim and Donegal. But anyway, we'll get to the bottom of that eventually. But that sometimes is... No, but it's just how seriously are we taking it in 2023? Do you know what I mean? Nicola, listen, it's going to be a huge success for you. I've no doubt whatsoever. Cocaine Cowboys, the deadly rise of Ireland's drugs lords, and it's available in all the usual places right now. Thanks so much for your time, Nicola. Have a lovely day.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. Take care of yourself. 086 60 25,000 WhatsApps and texts to that number if you want to comment.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook and at highlandradio.com. The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, with monster loans available up to €60,000 for all occasions. Visit letterkennycu.ie.
Adult
Safeguarding Day takes place this month. Safeguarding involves keeping ourselves free from harm and protecting our rights. This includes all adults planning ahead to reduce the risk of adult abuse.
Go-to actions that we can all take to plan ahead are to make an enduring power of attorney, designate a health representative, and choose who can assist with decisions. From Safeguarding Ireland, supported by the HSE.
Get informed at safeguardingday.ie.
Do you think about your legacy and what you want to leave behind? You know, I've had a great life. My childhood was filled with love and support. But not every child is that fortunate. Many face poverty and adversity on a daily basis. So I'm leaving Bernardo's Ireland a gift in my will to pass on the chance of a brighter future to these children. Visit bernardos.ie/pass it on to get involved and make a difference.
Discover the ultimate experience in the spa orchids at the Holyrood Hotel Bundoran with our tranquil Japanese-themed garden, rejuvenating massages, revitalizing facials, luxurious spa baths, pampering body treatments, not forgetting the outdoor hot tub and sauna in our secret garden. Visit on a luxury spa day, pop in for some me time, or buy the perfect present with a gift voucher. Relax and let the spa orchids transport you to another world. For more, see holyroodhotel.com.
Morning to you. How are you all keeping? I hope you're very well.
Hello, darling. Hope you've started packing.
Mum.
We're dying to see you this Christmas. The tree's up already.
Mum, I don't know how to say this.
What's wrong, pet?
I can't come home this year. It's just too expensive.
Oh, sweetheart. We'll miss you.
Sometimes life keeps us apart. But at Highland Radio, no matter where you are in the world, this year we want to make Christmas extra special for one lucky family. We want to bring a family home for Christmas. You can nominate yourself or a loved one. Visit highlandradio.com to submit your nomination. Let's bring families together this Christmas.
All right, you're welcome back to the programme. We've been talking about our minor annoyances, and we know it's only a bit of fun. I'm with you, Greg, on the plastic milk bottles ring. It's so simple to remove it, but I usually end up retrieving it from my morning cup of tea. Another bugbear of mine is shoelaces that just won't stay tied. No matter how tightly I tie them, they somehow become loose within an hour. Years ago, you tied your shoelaces in the morning and untied them when going to bed. What's happened to these faithful foot soldiers? I don't know. Another thing annoys me, and it's a complete and utter lie, is easy peel bacon and ham. It's not easy peel. You pull at it, and I end up then having to hatchet it with a knife. Also, is it just me, but you open the ham and all the ham's upside down. What's the story with that? I have to open it, turn the ham the right way up, and then seal it again. That is a random annoyance. Not a big deal, but it annoys the living daylights out of me. Another one. This is just me now. No one's texting now that people are texting in. The things that you can microwave with the thin plastic sheet on the top of them. Have you ever tried to get one of them off? And you end up with the plastic still around it, and you don't know if you can put it in the oven or the microwave, whatever. Another annoyance for our listener: toilet seats that don't stay up when you go into the toilet. Man here speaking, obviously. Sit down, treat yourself. I don't think enough men treat themselves to a sit-down one. Why do you have to stand? There's nothing to stop you. Sit down, chill out a bit. Take the weight off your feet, breathe, relax. But yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. What annoys me is I can't see any milk table jugs to buy in stores anymore. Lots of mugs and cups of folks. No table manners anymore, using large milk containers on their tables. Ugh. Well, now when I'm making the tea, I am there standing at the counter beside the kettle. But I take your point. I'm sure there's a shop out there that sells milk table jugs. Let us know. We can perhaps put a bit of business your way. 086 60 25,000. I've got so many things that annoy me in a light-hearted way right now, but keep them coming into us, please. Keep your annoyances coming into us. 086 60 25,000. What little thing do you come across during the day that is an annoyance? Okay, we are joined on the programme now by Elizabeth Baraza, who is from Poland. Good morning, Elizabeth. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you. Thank you very much. And in the first place, I will apologize for my English because it's so bad.
It's much better than my Polish, Elizabeth, so we will be okay. Now, you tell me what situation you're facing with your children, Elizabeth.
I moved to Ireland 2 weeks ago, and I decided to move here because I'm looking for a better place for my children, and I moved to here also to work, growing up. But the situation that I have at this moment is I cannot enroll my children at the school. I have 4 children, 2 small, 6 and 7 years old, and I already filled out the form, and I'm still waiting for the answer because they said me that will be the school to need verify if they have a place for the small children, and also the older children. I'm looking for a co-educational school, but here in Letterkenny only have 2 schools. One of them is the education in Irish and language. This is no possibility for my children. And the other one, I just be there yesterday, and say me they have not place for them.
Now, obviously, with your children not at school and you don't have a car, so you can't travel to another school, but with your children not being able to get to school, first, 1, they lose a year of education, but 2, presumably, you can't work.
Yeah, but I didn't. At the moment, I stay in home with them because I can do it. I can't leave my 4 children alone at home. And this is a problem, very big problem to me, because the situation is very stressful. No, because I don't know what else I can do, where I can go, and I don't know someone who can help me in this situation, because I feel loose here in this moment.
Understood. Your children aged 14 and 15, that would be secondary school, and your youngest children aged 7 and 6. No spaces for any of them. Have you contact with other members of the Polish community here, Elizabeth, that might have experience of this?
Yeah, my husband and I yesterday was looking for some information on Facebook, and I get someone. I have already sent emails to the consul department in Donegal. I also write to the citizen information requesting help, but at the moment I don't have an answer.
Can I ask? The problem. Can I ask? You said you moved to Ireland for a better life for your children. Is it better so far? What did you leave in Poland that makes Ireland better, if I can ask?
I see that. Can you repeat, please, one more time?
Yeah. Why did you leave Poland and come to Ireland?
Working every time. Yeah. My financial financial situation was maybe okay, but if I want to buy a house and I want to get some more for my children, I cannot. Yeah, because we are big family. Yeah, I can work every day, every time, every day, 12 hours, and I will have the same payment. I don't know if you understand me.
I do.
And
I do.
For that reason, I moved to Ireland because I see the rights of people who are working here. Yeah.
Okay. Now,
And,
we shall, Elizabeth,
mhm.
we shall ask our listeners if they can help, if they have any advice about getting your children into school. We have your contact details, and if we get anything useful, we will contact you and let you know.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Best wishes to
Thank
you
you.
and your family. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Take care of yourself. Okay. Any advice input there? She's based in Letterkenny. They don't have a vehicle at this time. 086 60 25,000. But I don't want to sort of fleet from something that's really quite serious for people to something that's somewhat lighthearted. But I did mention ham being upside down, and it's caused quite a bit of controversy. A few people messaging in thinking I'm crazy. Dominic on Facebook says, how is the ham upside down in the pack? Well, I'm going to make a video and post it on my social media. When you open it, the ham I get anyway, maybe it's the ham I get, the top, it's slanted away from you, so the top slices are at the back of the packet. I don't want to rip it all open. I just want to rip the front of it open and then just take a slice ham, but it is upside down. Can anyone else back me up on it, or am I completely losing the plot that at least some of the ham in the packet is upside down? All right, back after these.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, offering low-rate car loans with fast approval. Apply online at letterkennycu.ie or in office today.
Crisp mornings, crunchy leaves, cozy jumpers. Wintertime can be magical, but it's also the time of year when we're most at risk of catching the flu. At your local pharmacy, all children aged 2 to 12 years old and those aged 13 to 17 who were in an at-risk group can now get vaccinated for free with just a simple nasal spray. Don't let the flu stop you from enjoying your time together. Book your child's flu vaccine at your pharmacy today. Brought to you by the Irish Pharmacy Union.
Dunstore's Christmas pre-order service lets you enjoy the Christmas you deserve. Order the stars of your table like free-range turkey and ham as early as November 15th and collect between the 20th and 23rd of December. So while you're planning the perfect Christmas for your guests, let us do some of the work for you. Now available nationwide. Visit dunstoresgrocery.com to find your nearest store. Make Christmas for everyone at Dunn Stores. Subject to availability. Terms and conditions apply.
Brian McCormick, Sports and Leisure, your football specialist. Adidas football boots in many ranges like Crazy Fast, Copa Pure and Predator Accuracy. Puma King Ultimate, King Top, King Future Match for kids and adults. Available in a mixture of soft and firm ground. Adidas socks and shorts, gum shields that can be remolded to improve fit. Match up your boots with Adidas or O'Neill's set of socks and shorts. Brian McCormick Sports, your football specialist. Click on bmcsports.ie or call in Main Street, Letterkenny.
Are you building a new home? Building requirements state that you must install a radon barrier. At FF Radon Systems, we supply and professionally install the fully certified barrier. For more information, call Liam at FF Radon Systems on 086 833 2749.
Easy Living Furniture would like to invite you, our customers, to our annual Family and Friends event this Thursday, the 9th of November from 1 o'clock. We'll be offering a magical 50% off all Christmas stock for one day only, including Christmas trees, decorations, baubles, garlands, wreaths, and so much more. Don't miss out on our most enchanting sale of the year. Visit Easy Living Furniture, Crescent Link Retail Park this Thursday from 1 p.m.
Highland Radio weather updates brought to you by Grant. From condensing oil and HVO biofuel boilers to heat pumps and underfloor heating, you can trust Grant to heat your home. Visit grant.ie.
Now, as this morning wears on, showers will spread from the west, becoming frequent during the afternoon and evening. Some of the showers will be heavy with a risk of hail and thunder. A blustery day with maximum afternoon temperatures ranging 8 to 11 degrees in fresh to strong and gusty southwest winds. Okay. Caller says, hi Greg, we've got 4 children. The eldest didn't get a phone until they started secondary school. This will be the same for all of our children. Yeah, indeed, and that's, you're right. And how did it work for you, by the way? Hi Greg, big meeting today. GPs and the CELTA management talking shop, letting GPs let off steam a bit. Wait 3 months, nothing will change. Well, I would hold my fire on that one because the GPs are going in there full of knowledge and also full of determination to see results. And the GPs that we're talking of and those that we've spoken to would not be brushed off too easy. I take your point and I can understand why we can feel that cynicism, but the GPs themselves will call it out. I've no doubt about that. They'll call it out if they believe that it was just a talking shop and nothing will change. So bear with us. Listen to the show tomorrow morning. We're going to have full coverage of that meeting. We're going to be speaking to GP representatives. Maybe even Celta management might make themselves available. But it's an issue that we see as incredibly significant and one that we're not going to be brushed off on anyway. And I have no doubt the GPs involved, because they feel so passionately about it, won't be brushed off either or fobbed off. You know what I mean? But I also get where, and I don't mean this in the nicest possible way, where your cynicism might come from, because so often we talk about stuff and it feels we talk about stuff and it feels like nothing is changing. All right, so I want to say good morning to John now. John, thanks for holding. How are you keeping, John?
Grand, Greg.
Good to hear. Right, now you say you're not far off receiving your pension, but you've noticed an issue, particularly in relation to the care of your teeth.
Yeah. 2 years ago, I did pay to get work done to my teeth, which cost me up on maybe 100 at that time, but I'm not in a position to pay that now anyway. So I looked up, and I have a medical card, and it tells you all you can get done on this and that. But I'm in the Buncrana area, not far out of Buncrana, and I've tried, I don't know, Moville, Cairn, Buncrana, Letterkenny. So I rang up. Nobody wants to take medical care. Nobody will take it. So I rang up the health, and they gave me a number on Buncrana, which I won't mention no names. They said, go to them, and they'll do it. No good. They won't do it. So I got a number then for a place in Letterkenny, which I won't mention names or get nobody into bother. No. It says, we don't do it, and you won't get anybody in Letterkenny to do it. But our other branch in Donegal Town, which is Blue Poppy Dental in Donegal Town, so I rang them, and they says, after a bit of questioning, they said, don't do it. But that's grand. What my policy is that's, I would say, good 60 to 70 kilometres from
No, it's a long run from Buncrana to Donegal Town, no doubt about that.
And I'll have to get somebody probably to take me up, because if I get out teeth, I'll be in no position to drive home. So I'll have to leave Buncrana at least 7 o'clock. And I was quite glad to get it. It's 8:30 tomorrow morning.
Okay, good
stuff. The issue I have is, why does they put on stuff on the medical card when nobody will use a medical card? As if the dental surgeons bumping the prices up to get you the money out of your pocket, or is the government not paying or not paying enough?
Can I say, John, I think it might be, and we'll check with dentists, because we've got good contacts. I think it might be down to capacity, you know, that they simply, because even I recently went to the dentist and I did get a cancellation. It was for routine stuff, and it was like the appointment was 4, 5, 6 away, and that was private. 4, 5, 6 weeks away, and that was private. As I say, thankfully I did get a cancellation. So maybe it's not gouging, John, or about money. Maybe it's about capacity, and they simply can't take on any more, because maybe even someone who is paying privately might find it difficult to sign up with some of the dentists that you've contacted. Or did they say to you, we can do you if you pay?
Yeah. There's one here, I'm not going to say Buncrana, very close to me. I'm not going to say anywhere. They were giving me an appointment for tomorrow, which would have been private. I would have had to pay.
Right, okay, I got you.
They phoned me this morning. Says they can take me today. So then I says, do you take medical card? Oh, no, we wouldn't take medical card. So I says, how much would this be? They says, well, for the set, they're not going to say. It just says, well, first of all, it'll cost you about €45 for just. And if they have to do x-rays, you're probably chatting 100 x-rays for an x-ray. And probably go in after that, whatever you need to get work done to your teeth.
You can see how it starts racking up into hundreds there very quickly, can't you?
They could do it. They could either took me tomorrow morning, and then they wanted me to go today. So
effectively, John, what we can group it all in here and say, effectively, you can't get your teeth looked at on your medical card north of the Gap, in your experience.
No, I definitely can't.
Right.
No. And you know what good as a medical card with this on it? when nobody wants to take the medical card, nobody wants you in. What good is it?
All right, John, we'll leave. Listen, we're going to dig a bit deeper.
One other thing, Greg.
Yes, okay, go ahead while you're on.
Just one different issue. I have been talking about this for years. Now, if I lived in Malmhead if I was living in Malmhead or Hornhead or whatever it should be, next year I'll be getting a free bus pass.
Yes.
But what's good is a free bus pass? It's useless because the bus doesn't go anymore. Why do they not ask you something for pensioners? And I don't mean to jaunt all over the country on a taxi, but when you live so far out, to get the taxi to the nearest town so that you can get the bus. If I lived in Malmhead and I wanted to go to probably be Carndonagh or Buncrana, I don't know, to get a bus, it's going to cost me 12 or 15 euros. And when I would come back and get off the bus, it's going to cost me 12 or 15 euros to get back to Malmhead again.
Yeah, I get you.
So what is this? Like, it's useless.
So between the free bus pass, the free dental care, in inverted commas, you've paid for it all your life, John, so it's not free. It's just, you've paid towards this. So the free bus pass, not much use to you. And it's not free, really, if you have to book and ring up or go online and book a ticket, because it costs you to do that. And also, in terms of the dental treatment, you're having to spend quite a lot of money or inconvenience someone. I'm sure they don't mind doing it for you, John. Travelling all the way to Donegal Town and then back to Buncrana. Right, 2 good points, John, and 2 points that come up on the programme now and again. I want to get to the bottom of the medical card stuff and the dental treatment stuff, so leave that with us and we'll do a bit of digging around and hopefully come up with some answers.
That's great.
Take care, and hopefully tomorrow morning goes all right for you. Take care, all right? They're a great crew down there in Donegal Town. I can say that myself. Hi, Greg. I read that one. Hi, Greg, here. The people on again about the traffic in Letterkenny. Complete disaster, the amount of people that I'm chatting to, and will not be going to Letterkenny shopping. Well, I hope that's not the case because, in a lot of the routes, like if you're coming from Lifford, Ballybofey, or up the 4 lanes and into the town, I don't think it's too bad. I think there's a particular couple of issues that I really wouldn't discourage anyone from going into Letterkenny to shop, because those businesses are really important in terms of, employment, supporting local charities and all that type of stuff. So hopefully it doesn't discourage a lot of people from shopping in Letterkenny. But that being said, I can understand the frustration. The problem with the Polestar is the roundabout is too small. The same lights set up on the roundabout at the Full Bridge, but being bigger, it works fine. That was Kevin's point yesterday as well. He believes it's too small for all the traffic lights that are on it. There's traffic jams on the 4 lanes at peak times before the lights. The only difference now is that they are much longer. People blaming other people about roundabout usage is total nonsense. Have they not been close enough to see how these lights affect HGV movement on the roundabout? The bloody thing's too small for so many lights. Until we get a new bridge, if ever, there'll be traffic chaos in Letterkenny. I might dig out the reference to progress on that Bonagee link from last week because I need to listen back to it again so I can quote it going forward in terms of when it might be realised. Look, until people get used to it, there's going to be some driver influence in it, but it's not going to cause a situation where it takes someone an hour to get from Arena 7 to the Polestar roundabout. That's not drivers. Come on, let's be realistic about it. Did you ever look closely at the Euro notes, asks a listener? It doesn't say anything on them about legal tender, as it does on other currency. Just a wee point. All right, thanks very much for that. I get you. Right, okay. I have to be really brief with this one. Dr. Caroline Robbins is a past president of the Irish Dental Association. Caroline, good morning to you. Thank you so much for your time.
No problem. Good morning to you.
Can you give us an insight into our last caller's situation, Doctor? And thanks so much, by the way, for making yourself available at such short notice.
No, anything to get her out of the hoovering.
I hear you.
Day off, the house needs to be attacked.
Yes.
Okay, so look, obviously it is a countrywide issue. We know that. And I don't think, unfortunately, your caller's predicament is... it's one facing a lot of patients. Your researcher just asked me to explain why, some dentists don't accept medical card. So dentists are contracted to it's an individual choice to have a contract with a medical card, so not all dentists are. So if you don't hold a contract with the HSE to provide medical card treatment, if a patient is looking to have that treatment done, the dentist can't provide it. Does that make sense? Because they're not contracted to provide that kind of treatment.
There's no system for them to get paid for it because they're not signed up to the system. Yeah.
No, they're not signed up to it. And then if their dentist maybe in the past had been providing medical card treatment and has resigned from them, then unfortunately they are no longer in a position. They can still look after them, but unfortunately they don't have the facility to offer it under the medical card system either. And then obviously patients are finding it difficult to find a dentist who is still currently accepting medical card patients, because those that probably are still are absolutely swamped and really don't have the facility to take on more, because the system is broken. It's, we're talking about a 1994 contract. We're in 2023. The government will come on and wax lyrical about, we've upped fees and we've done this, that and the other thing, but it doesn't address that we physically don't have enough hands to provide the treatment.
And it is part of it, Caroline, and if I'm reading you correctly, that some dentists will make a commercial decision and say that if we do medical card work, that will displace private work and we might be less profitable, or it might lower our income. Is that a reality of why they might make a decision not to sign up to the scheme?
In part, I mean, it is. We run a business. I own a practice. I run a business. I know that if I was facing into, and I do still see medical card. I see my existing patients, but I know that if I was facing into a day of purely medical card, I would be worried about the fact that I would not be covering my overheads for the day.
I get you.
So there is a business aspect to it. It's not a nice side. It's a side of dentistry I hate, because I really want to be looking after my patient regardless of whether they're medical card, PRSI, private. They're still my patients, and they all deserve to come through my door and be offered the same level of service.
Caroline,
the medical card takes that away.
Thank you so much for that. And we've talked about this in the past, and the system is almost designed, it seems, to extract rather than repair or care. And we've had that whole, not from the dentist's perspective, but the way the system is set up. So listen, Caroline, thank you so much for reminding us of the situation, and I wish I had a little bit more time, but for now I'll let you back to your vacuum cleaning. It has to be done too. Okay. Dr. Caroline Robbins, past president of the Irish Dental Association, thank you so much for your time today.
With all the stories that matter across the Northwest, it's Greg Hughes on the 9 to Noon Show on Highland Radio.
Okie doke, it's 11 o'clock. Let's get a news update, and it's good morning once again to Donna Marie Doherty.
Thanks, Greg. Good morning. A Donegal deputy says it's important to understand the process required to see works in the A5 come into fruition. Deputy Joe McHugh says the publication of a report from the Planning Appeals Commission is of utmost importance. West Tyrone MP Orla Begley previously said the project could start within a matter of months, provided the Irish government now follows through on funding commitments. Deputy McHugh responded saying it's his understanding that this is the case. There were 9,030 people on the live register in Donegal at the end of last month, down 4% on the figure for October 2022. The numbers rose in 3 of the county's social welfare offices and fell in the other 6. A Castlefin councillor has condemned the theft of a memorial stone off an off-duty RUC officer's grave. The stone was unveiled last week to mark the 50th anniversary of Detective Constable John Doherty. Councillor Gary Doherty says these actions do not represent the community or the village. A bill which would ban the selling of vaping products to children is to go before the Dáil this evening. Experts have warned of the urgent need for legislation around vapes, citing long-term health risks, particularly in those under the age of 18. The Agriculture Minister says he's liaising with Chinese authorities to ensure our beef exports restart as soon as possible. Shipments were suspended yesterday after a case of atypical BSE, which occurs sporadically, was discovered in a cow. It doesn't relate to feed contamination, which was the cause of a major mad cow disease outbreak in the late 90s. Minister Charlie McConalogue says the suspension is a result of strict Chinese protocol and doesn't affect exports to any other countries. And finally, there are calls for consent classes to be expanded into secondary schools. The topic was raised at an Oireachtas committee meeting yesterday with representatives from the Active Consent Programme and the UCC Bystander Intervention Programme presenting their findings. They argue that online misinformation is causing young people to develop unhealthy ideas around sex and relationships. Those are the latest headlines. We'll be back again with the next news update at 12 o'clock. Until then, good afternoon.
Well, that went well, didn't it?
It did. I thought it
It
went
is
very
11
well.
o'clock.
It is 11 o'clock.
Upside down hams causing a bit of a controversy here. Are you familiar with the issue? No? I know you weren't listening, obviously, because you're flat out in the newsroom.
What
but
were you saying there?
Upside down ham. Do you know when
Upside
you peel
down.
it back and
Yeah.
the top slice of ham, it's sort of, they're stacked, sort of falling backwards, and the top slice is at the back? No? You're not familiar with that?
No.
Right, neither is a lot of people. But apparently, a listener is. They say 100% the ham I buy in Aldi is upside down. But it is a thing.
Yeah, I guess if it's, you're like, why is it packaged this way? What's caused
Thank you
it?
very much, Dan Dunham. I don't feel I've got your support there, but I do appreciate you listening to me. Take care of yourself. All right, we'll be back with much more, including more of your simple annoyances in life after we take a break. Stay right where you are.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union. Simplify your debts with a debt consolidation loan from Letterkenny Credit Union. Call us on 074 910 2126 or apply online via our app or in office today.
An chlár Employer Excellence de chuid Fáilte Ireland ar oscailtanis de gachsáis cólachta in Arnold na Tuarasóireachta. Ón siamsa is lú go dtí an tóstán is mó. Glagpórt leis na céite cólacht eile atá gmeala daoine ort chomasa go chana féin. An córtha a chuidíon leat daoine a arcú. Chlór ag fáilteIreland.ie/Employer Excellence.
In our communities, we all look out for each other. If someone needs help, we lend a hand. When it comes to fire safety, we make sure our own homes are safe. But we should also look in on vulnerable or elderly neighbours to make sure they are safe too. It could save a life. Stop fire by testing smoke alarms regularly, look for obvious dangers, and have an escape route planned. Keeping our communities safe. Learn more fire safety tips at fireireland.ie. Brought to you by the Government of Ireland.
Here at Century Complex, the Christmas countdown has begun. We are now taking bookings for Christmas parties, private dining, premier cinema experiences, school tours and more. Get in touch with our team on 074 9121976 or check out our website centurycinemas.ie for more information on Century Complex.
Nutrius Super Beef Gold ATP and Nutrius Max Maize Mix are now on offer at your local Homeland. Buy 10 25kg bags and get one free, or get €15 off per tonne in bulk. The Nutrius Beef ATP pack enhances animal performance through maximising rumen efficiency. T's and C's apply. Contact your local Homeland or farm commercial specialist today. Visit nutrius.ie for full product details.
More and more people are moving to rural Ireland, but we're not here in Donegal for a slower pace of life.
We're here because rural Ireland is alive.
Brimming with ideas and energy.
The only thing holding us back is slow broadband. It's cat. Pure glacial.
So why wait? Imagine Broadband Speed gives us the freedom to connect without compromises.
Imagine Broadband is connecting homes and businesses in your community right now. For better service and faster broadband faster, switch to imagine.ie. Imagine. Faster broadband faster.
Subject to location and availability.
Now, we were speaking earlier to a Polish lady. She's moved here with her husband and 4 children for a better life. They're currently based in Letterkenny, but there's no spaces for their children. They've got 2 children at national school age, 2 at secondary school age. No means of transport at the moment, and a little bit desperate because they can't work, because they have to care for the children, or the mother can't work because she has to care for the children. Obviously, homeschooling's not an option because she's working on her own English, and the concern is that the children might lose out on a year's education. But the great thing about this show is that we often get instant replies or help or knowledge on this issue. Sarah Martin is principal of Brown Now National School in Ramelton. Good morning to you, Sarah. Thank you so much for your time today.
Good morning, Greg. How are you?
I am doing good, Sarah. So what is the situation in terms of potential capacity at your school?
Capacity in our school is 51, and we have 3 class teachers, and we have a SEN teacher part-time and an EAL teacher for English students part-time. So we had Ukrainians last year, and we still have only 1 this year because some of them have returned home. So we would have capacity and facilities take in new children if we could help out.
Okay, and how many Ukrainian children headed home out of interest?
We have only one now.
Okay.
We had 5.
I had 5, okay. And in terms of connectivity between Letterkenny and Ramelton, it's not very far away. Are the buses there, or is there anything could be worked on in that regard, do you think?
No, there's secondary school buses that come from Letterkenny through Ramelton and to Milford for the secondary schools. And then we have our own bus for the Ukrainian children that goes through Ramelton. So if they could get to Ramelton, there'd be a bus there. Now, my only query is, can primary school children, could they go on with their siblings on the secondary school bus? Mm-hmm. And if that could work for them, if we could help them out, we'd love to have them, yeah.
So theoretically then could work with the secondary school, the buses and connections then. What about the older children? Obviously, Brownnow is a lovely national school. Sarah, do you have any insight into what might happen with the older children or what could be done in that situation?
And my experience of people who've moved in the 2 feeder schools, I think the lady wants a mixed secondary school. I think Loretto's numbers are full, but I think if she wants a mixed secondary school, she would have 2 options. She would have Mulroy in Milford, and there's a bus that goes from Ramelton as well, or from Letterkenny. Or the second option would be the Royal and Prior in Raphoe, and a bus also goes from Ramelton and feeds through to Letterkenny, would be going past the Woodlands there. So there'd be 2 options, and my hope would be that all 4 children, if it's possible with bus Erin, that they could all go in the one bus, and then, obviously, when coming through Ramelton, they would swap and come out to us, or go on to secondary school, or vice versa.
Brilliant, Sarah. Listen, thank you very much. That's information we can work with. Thank you so much, by the way. How's everyone at Brownnow?
We are all good. We're all good, settled back. You know what? We have a lovely bunch. We're very lucky. Yeah.
You have the longest term under your belt now, I think. It's just a wee short run to Christmas now.
That is. It's 7 weeks. And do you know what? We're already feeling the buzz and excitement of it here, yeah.
I'm afraid to mention it on the radio, but I am. You see, I'm feeling really Christmassy this year because this is a better year than last year because other things were going on.
I think we're coming out of COVID and the school plays and the concerts are back. So there's definitely a buzz in the air again.
Oh, Sarah, keep us updated with any excitement at Brownnow. God bless you. Thank you so much.
No problem at all. Thank you.
Sarah Martin there, who has capacity and believes there is a way of working it. Thank you so much, Sarah, and a big hello to all the students at Brownnow. Back to some of your annoyances. I'm not going to mention the ham again. Actually, someone says, what did they say? Hiya. First air fryer's now upside down ham. Greg needs a holiday. I'm starting to feel like I need more than a holiday, but okay, listen, thanks for that. Noisy eaters at the dinner table gets to me. Yeah, I get where you're coming from. Poor quality tin milk jugs in cafes that spill more than they pour. Drivers that are slow yet speed up when there's nothing coming on a straight, hindering your passing ability. Yes, I know that one. Towny drivers on country roads that don't know the width of their car and sit there with an attitude. Drivers that don't notice lights flashing at them to let them across the road. I could go on forever, Doc. Thanks very much for that, Doc. How the hell do you know when ham is upside down? Surely both sides are the same. I'm going to explain that with pictures and imagery and PowerPoints and what have you in the not too distant future. Keep your random annoyances coming in to us. We have in studio with us now Chloe McGee, who's been appointed as Badminton Ireland's first woman in sport and national development manager. Congratulations to you, Chloe.
Thank you.
You're going to have to move forward a little bit for me, if that's okay. I mean, you're the perfect fit for this job. What does it entail? What's involved?
Well, I've been working actually for the last 2 years in development with Badminton Ireland, so this job is just a follow-on from that, but it's bringing more women in sport into it. So where I was doing development in Ulster, I'm now kind of doing development all around nationally, and then it's just continued on the good work we're already doing and making more opportunities for the women in our game.
More men play badminton than women, do they? I mean, is the amount of women playing badminton pretty small in this country?
It's not small. It's actually getting better, and badminton is one of the sports that does it very, very well. We're quite equal when it comes to women and men, but yeah, there is definitely more men playing badminton than women, and there's certain parts of the sport that we could do better for women. For example, high performance coaching. So it's small things like that we want to try and get more women into the game and try and give them as many opportunities to do it as possible.
I've always saw you, Chloe, as kind of the Katie Taylor of badminton, if you know what I mean, blazing a trail for a long time now. How long of a career?
I played full-time for almost 15 years.
It's remarkable, isn't it? Because your name was always on the sports. You and other members of your family achieving great things. So where will you be based for this new job? And what do you see sort of with a new job and a new role? I suppose there's a bedding in time because it hasn't really been done before, though you bring a wealth of experience. So where will you be based and what do you hope to achieve early on?
Well, I'm going to be based in Donegal, so I have to be in Dublin once a week, but I will be based here. And I think for me, home has always been Donegal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want to make an impact and try and show that there is loads of opportunities out there for women in sport. And it couldn't be not just playing, there's officiating, there's coaching, there's even volunteering in your club. And those things are all very important roles. But it's just showing people that there is opportunities no matter where you come from, whether it's Donegal, whether it's Dublin, that we can get you into badminton.
In terms of a sport like badminton, for an example, and it's probably the same with many other sports, how much of it is down to sort of an inherent born skill? And then how much of it is down to graft and practice and the right level of training and the right level of fitness? Is it easy to break that down, Chloe?
I think it's the same with any sport. You'll always have kids that are extremely talented and they come through, but it's the hard work that they do that gets them to the levels that they get to. But every sport can be played and enjoyed, and I think badminton is a sport for everyone. No matter what age you are, where you are in life, it's a sport that can bring a lot of opportunities, and it's an indoor sport. So in Ireland, of course, we have terrible weather all the time, so it's can be played all year round, and I think that's the beauty of the sport, that no matter who you are, what you are, what age you are, you can play badminton.
Yeah, for sure. And I think athletics has done it really well, although always trying to improve. The talent is there, the natural talent that I talked of. It's just identifying it whilst everybody gets to play their part and enjoy it at whatever level they're able to meet. But you know what I mean, the more people you get in through the doors and get to see in action, the better we have of finding the future McGee's to blaze a trail in badminton.
Yeah, definitely, and that's why clubs are so important. I've only realised since I've retired from badminton how important it is, sports clubs, for people to go and attend and be a part of. And like, for example, this year we have Olympic year, and small sports like badminton, Olympic year is huge, and we have Rachel Dara from Rafo, and Josh is also trying to get there for Paris 2024. So these are the small talents that come through small clubs and are now on the world stage.
Do you still play badminton for fun?
I do. I play in my local club, in Rafo Badminton Club. So some of the young ones are getting very close to me now, and it's it's a scary feeling.
You can come out of retirement.
It's such a different feeling to play for fun and enjoyment, and obviously just to keep myself fit. But I love it, and I think I now love the sport more than when I actually played full time.
And you talk about opportunities, and I know this is not just talking about the elite at any sport. It's about participation and involvement, not just even playing, but reffing or whatever it might be, as you say. But I mean, it's amazing the life that badminton gave you, the experiences it's gave you. I mean, it's remarkable. Do you have to pinch yourself looking back on some of those experiences sometimes?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if I would have thought that my whole career was going to be playing badminton and then to be able to work in a sport that I love, I don't think I ever would have imagined that happening. And even to leave at 17 to go and play full-time badminton, I never thought that was what my life was going to be. So to be here now all these years later and see what badminton has given to me is incredible.
Yeah, and you love it so much. You want other people to play the sport and to see how inclusive it is and how it's open to people of all different abilities.
Yeah, and that's the difference between, I've come from obviously high performance and competing on the world stage to now being development, where it is about getting people playing sport, participation, seeing people enjoy the sport. And it's actually really refreshing and really nice to see this other side, that sport can give people so much, especially at a young age, and it's important that we do try to give everybody.
And this is also off the back of your role as Ulster Activation Officer. What was that role, or what is that role?
So that was like developing clubs, getting badminton into schools, trying to get more volunteers into the sport. It's just developing badminton from a grassroots level and trying to boost people in clubs and just to get things working a bit better within the Ulster region. And now the job is just it's a national job.
So what do we need to be doing better? I know we've kind of touched on that a little bit in different ways through this conversation, but is it establishing more clubs, or are there enough clubs? Is it sort of getting to younger people particularly, I suppose, and selling to them as an option, or where do we need to be going, do you think?
Well, I think badminton, actually, it's a sport that's growing and growing so much. It's developing over the years. It's come a long way since when I started playing badminton over 15 years ago. It has developed so much, and we're doing really, really good things. I think it's all the things that other sports have problems with. It's like keeping teenagers in the game, getting more people to help in our clubs. It's all this grassroots level, and clubs are so important to the development of the sport. If we don't have it here, then we won't get, as you said, the talent in the future to get to even the high performance, if that's what you're looking at.
Yeah, that's for sure, because it's tough. There's an awful lot of, for sporty people, but this is a different type of sport as well. So maybe, you know, football, GAA, rugby's not a fit for them. Try this too, because it is ultra competitive. And it doesn't seem of it. Obviously, I presume you can spend a fortune on a racket if you wish to, right? Yeah. But in terms of, you know, sports that are, it's not that expensive to be involved in, is it? You know, obviously you have to have your local club, hopefully, with the facilities and all that. But in terms of participation, it's not the most expensive.
No, it's definitely not. And all clubs, no matter where they are, will be able to give you a racket if you want to come and try the sport.
Yeah.
It's not like you have to go and buy all these things first to try it. So all clubs welcome new members, and they have the equipment there. And it's something you can play socially as well, which is, you know, go down, rent a court in the Aura Leisure Centre or wherever it may be, and you can play for fun.
Yeah, indeed. Well, listen, we wish you all the success going forward. There's a lot there. Does it seem overwhelming, or do you see the path because of your...
I think I'm very passionate about badminton.
So it's easy, it comes easy, isn't it?
And the role, I think, is a really exciting role. It gives me the opportunity to do what I want and to develop badminton, and, you know, try to get into that real development part of it. So I'm really looking forward to the challenge, and I hope in 12 months I can leave a difference in the sport. And
this is the next stage in your life, of course, having retired from competitive badminton. This is actually really quite good for you, I'd imagine, because, you know, you've put an awful lot in for much of your life into a sport that you certainly could never walk away from. So it must be lovely to retain an important role within it, and then maybe bring through the future stars.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I've got so much experience in the sport. It's nice to be able to give it back to Badminton Ireland, and that I'm giving it back to the guys that give me so many opportunities. So I like to be able to even come back to Rafo. It's been really heartwarming for me to be able to walk into my local club for the last 2 years and try to develop that as well. And that's where you have to remember where you came from as well. So.
Brilliant, of course, exactly. Anything you want to add, Chloe? Or is there any information that people can go to look at if they're interested in getting involved in a local club or anything like that?
Yeah, exactly. I think like badmintonireland.com, our website's fantastic. They have all the information there. And of course, if anybody is looking to play badminton, or any clubs or any women's sport initiatives, you know, feel free to contact me at Chloe McGee, badmintonireland.com. And we want to help people, and especially in the Northwest, we want to get badminton as going as well as possible.
Yeah, indeed. And of course, you use us as well, Chloe. If there's anything coming up in the future, you know Caroline and my contact details. Get in touch with us, and anything we can do to support you in your work locally, we're more than happy to do so. But again, listen, congratulations. Badminton Ireland's first Women in Sport and National Development Manager. It's a fantastic position and honour, Chloe, and we're very proud of you as well. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Is umi muthacán agus ceist a bheith agat nuair atá leanamh ar an mbealach. Be Carol Foyle ó cheanólathe sláinte ar do chruas. Agus ó mychild.ie ó aimimeacht na seirbhíse sláinte. A caróig leat san ihe. Cibé rud a tharlóí. Agus ó thuairthaigh tuairdit i rithean lei, mother leis na ceistena go léir. Táimid an sin can cabhú leat. Mar sin, té chuig mychild.ie le comhairle a oil. Ó aimimeacht na seirbhíse sláinte.
The county's #1 talk show, The 9 till Noon Show on Highland Radio. The 9 till Noon Show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union. Digital loans now available. Apply online or via our app today and get your loan transferred directly to your current account.
Do you need a UK address? Save hundreds of euros on custom charges shopping online with Space Hub Dairy. We provide a full virtual office address mailbox service for all your business and personal use. Save your business hundreds, possibly thousands on custom charges with Space Hub Dairy. Call 048 7187 8077 for more details.
Adult Safeguarding Day takes place this month. Safeguarding involves keeping ourselves free from harm and protecting our rights. This includes all adults planning ahead to reduce the risk of adult abuse.
Go-to actions that we can all take to plan ahead are to make an enduring power of attorney, designate a health representative, and choose who can assist with decisions. From Safeguarding Ireland, supported by the HSE.
Get informed at safeguardingday.ie.
Did you hear about Nissan's 2-for-1 offer?
Wait, do you mean 2-for-1, the license plate, or 2 cars for the price of one?
Both. If you buy a selected 2-for-1 Nissan now, in 2025 they'll replace it with a 251 Nissan for free.
Wow, that really is a 2-for-1 offer.
Buy a selected 2-for-1 Nissan and get a 251 Nissan for free. For details about this and all our 241 offers, contact your local Nissan dealer or visit nissan.ie. Terms and conditions apply. Nissan, innovation that excites.
At Hickey Clark and Langan Insurance Brokers, they compare quotes from all the leading insurers, so you get a great price. Home, motor and van, farm, holiday home, travel and liability insurance, they quote them all. So if the worst happens, you're covered. For a competitive insurance quote today, call Hickey Clark and Langan on 9126688 or pop into their office at Ballymacool, Letterkenny. Hickey Clark and Langan General Insurances Limited, trading as Hickey Clark and Langan, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
HSE Community Healthcare, Cavan, Donegal, Leitrim, Monaghan, Sligo Children's Disability Network teams work to empower and support the children and families who use our services. Cavan, Donegal, Leitrim, Monaghan and Sligo are looking for newly qualified and experienced dietitians, occupational therapists, physiotherapists, psychologists, social workers and speech and language therapists to work as part of our teams. Be part of our team in your area. Be part of their lives. For more information and to apply, please email briege.byrne@hse.ie.
Highland Radio time checks with Expressway. Travel Route 32 from Letterkenny to Dublin when you book online and travel for less. Expressway, bringing you the time at...
The time's 11:22.
In association with the Faculty of Business at ATU Donegal. For a career in financial governance, consider the Level 9 MA in Governance and IT in Financial Services, starting in January. Contact the Exec Ed Coordinator on 9186206 or email donald.hannigan@atu.ie today.
All right, we're joined in studio by presenter of Business Matters, Chris Ashmore. Hi, Chris.
Good morning, Greg.
How are you getting on?
Very good.
Apologies for those of you who are watching the stream. By the way, the guest camera is flicking a little bit. We'll resolve that for tomorrow. Don't let it annoy you too much. Just want to let you know that I'm aware of it. Chris, before we get into Business Matters, Chloe McGee was in with us there. I know you're like me, you've a few hats on. What a fantastic fit for that role, Chloe McGee's, with everything she has achieved.
Yes, of course, an Olympian and has done so much for the sport already, and it's a great appointment. And who better than Chloe to bring maybe the sport to new heights and get more people involved? And I don't think we lack indoor halls around the country. There's plenty of places that can be used for badminton. And as she mentioned, given the climate, it's an all year round sport, and you just need two people, and away you go.
Happy days indeed. Right, let's get on to business news before we get on to the podcast itself. And we'll start with a bit of good news.
Yes, indeed. The consultants appointed by the Regeneration Unit of Donegal County Council for the Letterkenny 2040 plan, well, they've won a major award in London. The Paul Hogarth Company were presented with the prestigious Landscape Institute Award at a ceremony in London on Friday. And along with representatives of the company, members of the council and Councillor Kevin Bradley, Mayor of Letterkenny and Milford Municipal District, were present to collect the award, which recognised the value of taking what they're calling a plan-led approach to the future of Letterkenny. So what is Letterkenny 2040? Well, essentially it's a blueprint or a plan to imagine future possibilities for the town centre to make it more attractive, a more vibrant place for people to live, work, invest and visit. And there's actually a very good website, letterkenny2040.ie, and they've done a great video on that as well. And before you ask, Greg, traffic is certainly mentioned in the 2040 plan. But it's all about
an awful lot on this programme, but it's not fixing it. Okay, I love plans, but I love to see plans in action, especially plans that might even begin whilst I'm alive still, Chris.
Yes.
But hopefully Letterkenny 2040 is one that we will see progress. Okay. Letterkenny Chamber Business Awards, that's this Friday, isn't it,
Yes,
Chris?
big event in the Clanry Hotel from 7 o'clock. Always great enthusiasm for the awards, and it's one of the biggest business events in the Northwest. Many different categories, businesses of all sizes being represented, from the sole traders to the multinationals. And new this year is the Workplace of the Year Award, in recognition of the work going on in companies to reward and retain staff, and the Young Business Person of the Year Award to acknowledge the many young people who have set up businesses and who are in business in the county.
Looking forward to it. Are you in attendance, Chris?
I have a prior commitment.
Okay.
So unfortunately, not this year.
I shall be there. Suited and booted. Yeah, indeed. Right, okay. There's a big energy event coming up here in the region, isn't there?
That's right. They're saying it's the biggest energy event of its kind in the region. It's been jointly hosted by Letterkenny Chamber and Londonderry Chamber of Commerce, taking place on Thursday, November the 16th at the Everglades Hotel in Derry. And this event will address the challenges that businesses face in terms of rising energy costs, and then opportunities for investment growth, innovation, job creation, all sorts of things within the framework of a sustainable energy sector. And the keynote address will be by Claire Neenan, the Managing Director of SSE Airtricity, and there'll be short talks and panel discussions. So if that's an area you're interested in, November the 17th at the Everglades Hotel in Derry.
Consider your card marked separately to that, though. I note that oil prices are at a 3-month low now because of a less global demand for oil. So we can all look forward to our petrol, diesel and home heating oil not changing in price at all. And companies experiencing more profits. All right, on to Killybegs. It's hosting a big event.
Yeah, big week for Killybegs. It's hosting the Laurentic Forum at the ATU campus in Killybegs. It started yesterday, on today and tomorrow. People from Canada, France, the United States and Norway. It's in its 15th year, and essentially what it is, it's looking at how to nurture and develop sustainable coastal communities in Ireland, Canada, Iceland and Norway. So you have policymakers, communities, businesses, all sharing their experiences for coastal communities. And this forum was first established as a way to mark the sinking of the famous transatlantic ocean liner, the Laurentic, which went down off the northwest coast of Ireland in Lochswilly back in 1917. And over 350 perished that day and 121 survived. So it's a big conference. And as I say, it's in its 15th year and great for Killybegs to be hosting it.
The cannon from the Laurentic, it is the Laurentic, because I mentioned this before and then I went and checked and now I'm doubting myself. A cannon from the Laurentic is on the pier in Downings, I believe. It is, that is a cannon from the Laurentic. Okay, great stuff. Right, okay, early doors on a application for housing in the Glenties area.
Yeah, it's good to see that there's been quite a few planning applications of late for housing developments. We all know that there's a need for new houses in the county, and there's a validation planning application. Essentially, it's the first step in the planning process. Well, it's been lodged with Donegal County Council in relation to proposals to build 22 houses at Gortna Muckla in Glenties, and the applicant is TOPM Developments Limited. So it'll take a little bit of time with the planning process, but there could be some new houses on the way down in Glenties.
Rightio. Okay, let's talk about this week's podcast, which is available for you to listen to or download on our website, highlandradio.com. Who's your guest this week, Chris?
Yes, my guest this week is Karen Murphy of Karen Murphy Speech, Drama and Communications in Letterkenny. And she's been telling me about her career, her light bulb moment for going out on her own, and how she now has a business that she loves and is very happy with. And as you know, Greg, speech, drama and communication skills, be it for a child or an adult, well, they can really give you a lot of confidence and be a major asset in your personal development and indeed your career path. And Karen has been speaking to me about her audience.
In terms of who the audience is, I'll give you a snapshot. So I work with Montessori or preschool, the ECCE programme. So I work with 3 creches once a week, every week for 30 weeks of the year. That in itself is huge business, you know. And then I'll move on then into primary schools. So I'll go out to primary schools and deliver programmes, maybe a 6-week programme to an entire primary school. and then I go to secondary schools. Now, the secondary schools tend to be more in a day and out in a day, that type of thing. I don't, sometimes I've worked with, TY students, and I've worked with them, say, over a 6-week period, but I just found that a short, snappy was better with them, maybe in 2 mornings, in on a Tuesday morning, present in on a following Tuesday morning, a follow-up, and that's usually enough for the TYs, because they're so busy anyway with all that they're doing. So,
and then there's adults as well.
And that was, that hugely came to the forefront during COVID. I put an advert out there to work with, because I realised that the amount of people hated speaking to camera, Chris, is huge. And so I put together a programme, and I was inundated with it. I couldn't handle the amount of business that was coming in during that time.
Good stuff, and you can get the enthusiasm in Karen's voice, Chris, which of course is very useful for her line of work.
Absolutely, Greg. Communications. Look, if you're a good communicator, well, what an advantage that is.
Yeah. The full interview with Karen Murphy is available now to download on highlandradio.com or wherever you get your podcasts, providing it's Spotify or iTunes. And it's broadcast too on Sunday, Chris.
Yes, on Sunday after the 6 o'clock news. And if you'd like to get in touch with the programme, you can drop me an email at businessmatters@highlandradio.com.
Chris Ashmore, thank you very much indeed. I look forward already to chatting to you on the programme next Wednesday. Have a great day.
Thank you, Greg.
Back with more after these.
Business Matters in association with the Faculty of Business at ATU Donegal. For a career in financial governance, consider the Level 9 MA in Governance and IT in Financial Services, starting in January. Contact the Exec Ed Coordinator on 9186206 or email donald.hannigan@atu.ie today.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook and at highlandradio.com. The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union, now offering mortgages from €40,000 to €600,000 with no hidden fees or transaction charges. Letterkenny Credit Union, 9102127.
Mary here from the cosmetic department at McGee's Pharmacy to let you know that Lancome have a great beauty gift available this week. Buy 2 Lancome products, one of them to be skincare, and you will get a free 8-piece gift containing the full-size Gality Comfort Cleanser, Renerche Day and eye travel size creams, and more iconic Lancome products. This is available until Saturday the 11th of November or while stocks last. Some T's and C's apply. Remember, for any skincare advice, you can always talk to Gemma or myself here at McGee's Pharmacy on Main Street, Letterkenny.
Are you a self-assessed income taxpayer? Use Ross Revenue's online service to pay and file online by Wednesday, November 15th. If you are not yet registered for Ross, do so today at revenue.ie. Avoid a surcharge, interest, penalties and a possible tax audit. Don't miss the November 15th deadline. Pay and file on time.
New this week at Home Store and More. All cookware sets are all half price. But better hurry, because when all the half price cookware sets are gone, they're gone. Also, all baking trays and tins are still all half price. And when all the half price baking trays and tins are gone, they're definitely gone. Drop by your local Home Store and More, or visit us online at homestoreandmore.ie. New store now open in Frascati Centre, Blackrock, Dublin. Home Store and More. A happy home.
Show the Monday Blues the door. Kick them into touch. Banish them for good. With a wee treat at Kelly's Diner in Letterkenny. Maybe a coffee and scone, or an all-day breakfast, or a burger and chip. With American-style booth seating, fast and friendly service, a menu packed with tasty choices at great value, and loads of parking, it's a great stop-off any day of the week. Take back your Mondays at Kelly's Diner, Mountain Top, Letterkenny.
It's important to you to know where your food comes from. Isn't it just as important to know where your information comes from? It's not always easy to verify what you see, read, or hear. But now there's help. Visit www.bemediasmart.ie. Stop, think, check. Be Media Smart. Brought to you by Media Literacy Ireland, supported by your local radio station.
Okay, you're very welcome back to the 9 till noon show. We've been talking a little bit too, just for a little bit of light and shade, about your annoyances. Actually, before we get to it, you can buy milk jugs, I'm told, in McElhenny's in Ballabafay. for that listener who couldn't find a decent milk jug. Plasters, this is other people's minor annoyances. Plasters that don't stick, stay on. I've tried so many, but they are all the same. I cut my finger last week, put a plaster on, and it was one of the paper cuts. You know how sore they are. Nothing worse than a paper cut. I ended up having to just take it off and deal with it, to be honest with you. Hi, Greg. Yes, ham is upside down 99% of the time. So annoying. Another, maybe this ham was for Australia, perhaps. Another bugbear of mine is those bottles of hand wash with a pump dispenser. Trying to get the pump to work for the first time is an absolute nightmare for me. Is there a secret method to getting that pump to work? It rotates freely in every direction, but refuses to depress. Then eventually, for no apparent reason, it works. Why is this? I feel like you're speaking on my behalf. No way does Greg need a holiday. He's just back from a week off. You need to chill out, Greg. If it's only upside down ham you have to worry about, well, God love the rest of us. And it was said right at the very beginning that, yes, there's an awful lot of more important things, but sometimes it's these little annoyances that are a bit of fun to talk about. It's not the ham that's upside down. The opening tab is on the wrong side. That's it. Exactly. Yep, that would fix the problem as well. But the easiest way for me is to rotate it. Okay, anyway. Right, on to much more serious matters now. We're joined on the programme by Mary. Good morning, Mary. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Greg.
How are you keeping, Mary? Are you okay?
I am annoyed at the way my situation has turned out. I came into a nursing home about 4 weeks ago, and I came in an emergency. You know, I am in a wheelchair and I have to be fully hoisted. I live with my daughter who works full time. I had 2 carers 3 times per day. Now my care plan, my care package was unfairly cut. My daughter works full time.
So you had a care plan initially in place with the Irish Wheelchair Association. The HSE has taken it over, and you're saying there's no care plan for you in the north of the county.
Yeah, I was told that there was a shortage of carers in the Inishowen area and none in Buncrana.
Mm-hmm. Now, you are only 65. You do require additional care, but you are in a nursing home and you want to be at home.
I want to be at home with my family, and that's where I want to be. You know, I appreciate the nursing home in question very much for taking me on. They're very, very kind to me, and I would like to thank them very much.
Yeah. And unfortunately, you do suffer from rheumatoid arthritis, which is the reason why you need the assistance.
That's right, Greg.
Yeah. I don't want to be look for any personal information, Mary, but are you close enough to home that at least until such time as you can get home that people can visit you?
Well, I'm actually, I'm in Letterkenny at the moment.
Ah, so you're quite some distance away.
I'm quite some distance away.
Yeah, okay. And you're kind of desperate. I don't think that's the wrong word, is it, Mary? You're desperate to get home.
I am. I would really want to be home, but I would also want the full support of my carers, my care package.
Mm-hmm. And just to be clear, did you have that before, Mary, and now you've lost it?
I had that before. I had it for about 2 years.
Okay.
And now I've lost it.
And you're in a nursing home that you don't really feel you need to be in. As you say, fair play to them and the care that you're receiving, but you're a young 65. You have another 30-odd years in you, I think you said in your notes to Caroline. You want to be at home now and with your family as well and in the comfort of your own surroundings.
That's where I want to be.
Okay. Have you had any information from the HSE as to when you might get a care plan so that you can move home, or you're being told that, I mean, I presume, Christmas is around the corner, for an example.
Yeah. No, I've had no information. I will be from the HSE. I've had no information as to when I will get home. as far as I can, say that I will be here for the meantime.
Yeah.
But I've no idea when I will get home.
And I presume it's upsetting for you as well.
It is, yes, it is.
Yeah, okay. We got onto the HSE, and it says it can't comment on individual cases, but not often, but we hope in this is one of the cases that now that we've flagged your experience, Mary, and now that they know that we're speaking to you, hopefully there'll be some work in the background to try and help the situation. It can often be the case, and we hope that it is the case this time, Mary, and that you can get home to your family.
Yeah, I would love to get home to my family.
Yeah.
Because that's where, I just want to be.
And you'll come on better as well, in terms of how you feel about yourself and all, Mary, too. I mean, if you're in your own environment, you'll feel better. Maybe not physically, but certainly emotionally and mentally, Mary. I think it'll be good for you to get back to the loving arms of your family, your daughter.
Yes.
Okay.
Because they all want me home. My son and my daughter. Although my son doesn't live with me, but that's where they want me to be.
Yeah, it's difficult on them too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you've been 4 weeks there now. As you say, you're not complaining about the care, but you need a care plan so you can get back to your own home. You had one before. The IWA seemed to have that in place. The HSE has taken over, and now they're simply saying we've got no care plan for the part of the county that you live in. And Mary, we've made our inquiries. We will chase them up on it, okay? And we hope that maybe it is lights a fire under someone and they can get this sorted for you.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Mary.
Okay.
We'll stay in touch with you, all right, in case we hear of anything further.
Okay, thanks very much. Great.
Best wishes, Mary. No, it's been lovely speaking to you, and I hope your situation gets sorted soon. Thank you very much indeed. That is Mary there. Hi, Greg. In relation to the news bulletin on children vaping, my child, who's 10, came home from school this week on the school bus to tell me 2 children, a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old, had a vape and were using it on the bus. The bus company dealt with it at the time, but it shouldn't be up to them. In my opinion, an absolute disgrace. The damage this is doing to their lungs. Where does a child this age get access to these? Maybe they were lying around the house. I would hope there's no shop would sell them to a 10 or 12-year-old, but it's not illegal to do so. Maybe an older child. We need to do everything we can to keep these products out of children's that age's hands. And fair play, by the way, for the relationship with your child that they were able to come home and tell you that. Morning, Greg. Dentists are like doctors now. If you have money, you get an appointment. If not, they don't want to know. Thank you. Well, we heard from a dentist there. If they were to have a day of dental work, medical card dental work, they would be concerned that they couldn't cover their overheads. So some make a commercial decision not to accept such patients. Hi, Greg. Do any of your listeners know if there is a vet in Ardra? I was told there is, but cannot seem to find them online and can't get a number for them. Appreciate any help. Thank you, Anna. Anna, I presume this is for a domestic animal, isn't it? A domesticated animal. Any vets in the Ardra area, let us know. We can pass that information on to Anna. Right. Okay. More of your annoyances. All right, okay. We'll go to our next guest now, though, Brendan Golden, who is the chair of the Irish Farmers Association Livestock Committee. Hi, Brendan. Good morning to you.
How are you? Good morning to your listeners.
I'm doing good. It's very frustrating, isn't it, after working so hard to establish trade with China, and then the case, I think it was in 2019, of this atypical BSE, things starting to move again, and lo and behold, it seems like once every 3 years we get another case, and we have this unique relationship with China that instantly stems the flow of beef from Ireland to China. It is frustrating.
It is. It was really disappointing when the news broke yesterday, and I just hope that the situation can be resolved quickly and that we don't have to wait for nearly 3 years again to get back in there. And yes, it was a market that had huge potential for us. Back in 2019, I think we would have put in around 40 million worth of beef into China, and in 2020, when the actual case was reported and we got locked out of there, that in 2020 we would have predicted that it could have grown to maybe 60 million. So we had to wait then until January this year, and I know a lot of work and effort went in by government and department, and even the Taoiseach would have spoken to the Chinese authorities to get us back in there. Board Bia were putting in a big effort over the last number of months as well. It seems as we were back in there, and it was potentially looking good. So it's a huge disappointment.
And it is kind of the problem is how good our testing is, isn't it? In that this was, I think it was a 10-year-old animal, a fallen animal. It wasn't destined for the Chinese market, but it still was picked up, and now now farming families are going to take the hit on it. You know what I mean? We're kind of almost being punished for the robustness of our testing system.
Well, yes, indeed, and I suppose the health certificate that we have with China is very, very strict, and that's the good thing, that it doesn't affect any of our other markets. But this one we have with China demands that any detail that's relevant to them is reported, and then the department is obliged to report something like this to them, and they have done that. But our systematic surveillance systems are very, very good, and all fallen animals that go into knackeries are tested and monitored as to reasons and to protect the food chain and everything. Our systems are very, very good, and there's absolutely zero risk, and that's something I think we should be very, very proud of. And it is hard. People have said it to me, sure, why would you need to say anything about this? But that's the agreement we have, and that's what our Origin Green label is built on, our traceability and our systems, and we have to protect that, and we're always hugely conscious of it. But it's hugely disappointing, but I think it could happen at a lot worse times, and because of the higher cost of living and that we're all dealing with at the moment, and we've been hearing about the higher costs of living in China as well, it was probably holding us back a little bit this year. But because we weren't putting in the huge big volumes this year, it's actually will have less of a negative impact on us in the short term. And the key thing at the moment is that, for beef farmers here in Ireland, that the industry and the factories return a higher margin to us, because we're seeing there over the last number of months that we've been trailing the prime export benchmark price by over 30 cents a kilo, and that's unacceptable to us. And with the costs we're incurring at the moment, we need the market to thrive on, and numbers in our key markets are tightening and expected to tighten, and we're hoping with the Christmas trade there at the moment that it will help us, and the returns we get back and move on, because we need them to.
Brendan, finally, the Taoiseach talking about, or Micheál Martin talking about, a number of months hopefully before trade can resume. Minister Charlie McConalogue unable to say whether it will be, the first quarter of next year or when it might be. Is it a little bit frustrating that we don't have a bit of a firmer timeline as to when exports can resume to China?
It is, but to be fair to the Taoiseach and to be fair to Minister McConalogue and indeed Minister Hayden, I'm sure they will make the case, and they will highlight the fact that the Chinese have experience of this before, and it shouldn't take them as long to deal with it this time. But at the same time, it is down to the Chinese authorities and the Chinese government, and there's only so much influence we can bring to bear there. But we certainly hope that it's resolved quickly, and that we are back in a matter of months, because really now if it's 3 years again, it's not. It's a sort of a lost cause for us if it goes out.
But we still have 69 markets unaffected, and hopefully any deal done with South Korea, we can avoid this type of a measure within that agreement.
And that was a bit of good news this week, and it was disappointing then to get the bad news coming on the back of that.
All right, listen, Brendan, thanks for your time. I know you're a busy man this morning, so we appreciate it. Brendan Golden, the chair of the Irish Farmers Association Livestock Committee, back with the weather.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union. Seasonal loans now available for Christmas. Apply online or via our app today and get your loan transferred directly to your current account.
Yeah, I'll be up to bed in a bit.
Just one more level.
Do more, loved. What's the harm?
Weight gain happens for many reasons in your 20s, but a good night's sleep is one of the 4 habits that can help. Learn more at gov.ie/healthy weight, an initiative of the Government of Ireland.
Hi, Tommy Bow here. Get in store to check out my new 15 Kings clothing collection, available in premium gents outfitters nationwide and at 15kings.com.
All you need to make your house a home at Patterson's The Hall Ifford Christmas Layaway Club, now open with lots of Christmas gift ideas in store, like Hollywood mirrors, dressing tables, beanbags and much more. Need a new mattress? Visit our sleep centre on the first floor with quality beds and mattresses at discount prices, in stock and ready for immediate collection or delivery. Open Monday to Saturday 9am till 5:30pm with hot lunches served daily in our coffee shop. Patterson's Kitchens and Interiors, The Hall Ifford.
What do you give someone who is everything? Everything. Because that's what you get with an Aldi gift card. Choose from delicious Christmas food and drink, or even our legendary Aldi special buys. Amounts start from €10. It's perfect for loved ones, hard-working team members, early birthday presents, or teachers' treats. And it shows everyone just how gifted you are. Buy online or in store. Discounts available for bulk orders. Aldi. Share the love this Christmas. Terms apply. Visit aldi.ie/gift cards for details.
Mary Black returns to the Millennium Forum on Saturday the 11th of November as part of her 40th anniversary tour. She is delighted to be back to mark this very special milestone in her career. Join Mary at the Forum for an unforgettable evening. Book now at millenniumforum.co.uk.
Mr. Blue Sky, please tell us why.
The Lotto jackpot is an estimated €4.5 million. Play responsibly in-store, in-app or at lottery.ie. The National Lottery. It could be you.
Highland Radio weather updates brought to you by Grant. From condensing oil and HVO biofuel boilers to heat pumps and underfloor heating, you can trust Grant to heat your home. Visit grant.ie.
Now, showers extending across the region through the afternoon, and some of those showers will be heavy with a risk of hail and thunder. A blustery day with maximum afternoon temperatures ranging 8 to 11 degrees in fresh to strong and gusty southwest winds. I'll give you tonight's weather now as the day's wearing on. Rather cold and blustery tonight with a mix of clear spells and showers. Some of those showers will be heavy and prolonged with the possibility of hail and thunder. Lowest temperatures tonight, 2 to 5 degrees in fresh southwest winds. Okay, so what should we do? Should we do some of your annoyances? Actually, before I do, I'm told Mulroy Vets will advise our dry listener, Anna, wasn't it? 074 9175 234. We'll retain that number. If you want to give us a buzz, we'll pass it on. Hi, Greg. Very annoying when people insist on driving out in front of me and then continue to go at 10 miles per hour. I also hate receiving cards after the occasion, like birthdays, etc. Keep up the good work. I understand about the ham too. Okay, thank you. Do you know what? It's not an annoyance, but do you ever have someone who's really kind enough to let you cross the road or to let you out of the vehicle, but they wave you on with a stern face and sort of like an aggressive arrow with their finger? I think it's such a nice thing to do. Just a little wave and a smile would continue the goodwill. Hi, Greg. What annoys me big time is a person with a beautiful smile, white teeth, all dolled up, etc., and then swear words come out of their mouth. Sorry to say, it's more annoying when it's a female for some reason. So what annoys them is people swearing. I'm not sure it's connected to how you look, but yes, if that's what annoys you, that's what annoys you. Greg, I wasn't going to bother texting in, but I feel you need validation. Yes, the ham I buy is always upside down in the packet. I used to think I was nuts and tried opening the other end. That didn't have the opening pull pod, but no, still upside down, and also peel and reseal, does not peel, and it does not reseal. No, the amount of times I reach in for a wrap and it's like a frisbee. Anyone having problems with milk bottle rings? Easy solution, get a cat. They won't stop nagging you until you throw it to them. Mine prefer them to a myriad of expensive toys. Interesting. Okay, that's good. I'm not sure I'm going to get a cat. I find the relationships with cats can be a bit transactional. You know, they treat you nice if you pet them and feed them. But anyway, the ham is upside down when you open it. You just put a knife under the ham and turn it around. Simple. I bog my hand in and rotate it, but you're very clean that you're doing it with a knife. Okay, very good. No, I don't actually. I'll be careful. A little annoyance, the amount of Christmas decorations up on the 1st of November. These people are ruining Christmas, in my opinion. By the time Christmas comes around, I'm glad it's over. It's a shame. And I think, because I'm getting older, I'm chilling out a little bit in that regard. And now, at this point, with everything that's going on, I just want people to be happy. And if it's putting up a Christmas tree or some lights or whatever, and it makes them happy, that's great. There's so much going on. Does it matter? And in a conversation with Lee too, last year, was it around about Halloween or Christmas? He was talking about they put up I think it was the Halloween decorations really early because it made the people in the house happy. And you know what? Who would I be to say you shouldn't do that if it makes people happy? Right, okay. In regard to the scam story, the exact same thing happened to me. €1,400 was taken from my account 2 months ago. They had all my details, like the caller. I got refunded. I don't know who or what was hacked, but they somehow had all my details. The bank did refund me. So a number of listeners have been in touch in regards to similar stories of being scammed out of money due to fraudulent links. As I mentioned, one listener lost $1,400, unfortunately was able to get the money back. Have you had similar experiences? Did you get your money back? Give us a call on 07491 25,000. I would check my bank account. I had a random purchase. Someone in Singapore bought something off, what's the website that you buy the dresses and stuff? Shein, yeah, it was €94 random, and I got it refunded too, but I had to cancel the card and everything, which is an absolute pain because then my broadband payment was bounced because I forgot to change the card. Anyway, these are minor problems. 086 60 25,000. If you're listening to the podcast of the overnight, you can get involved in the conversation. We're back with you live tomorrow morning from 9 a.m. But for me, Greg Hughes, and Caroline O, who researched and produced, and Shannon working on the show with us as well, have a wonderful Wednesday. And stay tuned for John Bresson. He's coming up around the Northwest after 12.